AnF, AnF. You can be sure that we're both on a list. AnF, AnF. You can be sure that we make the moves piss. Streaming through history, uncovering mysteries as to why the whites are living in misery. We keep the audience salivating as we continue navigating through centuries of adventures of the ever-evolving small hat wizardry. AnF, let us show you what you might have missed.
And it looks like we're live.
We're live. We're live. I can't believe it. Well, I'm sort of half alive. As you know, Artie, I'm back in London, and so you know it's a bit fractious there. You know, I went up. I was on the street, and I went to ask someone for a light. So you know, I did as you say. I was like, you know, can I get a flamily do, old chap? And this guy he just turned around and he stabbed me. Very lovingly though, right? Like
I was gonna say.
I guess. I mean, he was saying like a blah. So I presume that's, you know, like
Yeah, but they do
Arabic
assimilate
or,
there, you know.
Yeah. I think he was saying like, oh, I'm terribly sorry, oh chum, my knife just slipped. So I went to the hospital, and I waited there for like, you know, about 12 hours. Got stabbed again in the emergency room.
Yeah, by the doctor.
No. By someone in the waiting room. You know, they wanted to go sort of in front of me, and I was like, I say, oh chap, I'm sort of still bleeding here. He stabbed me again, and then I went to the finally got seen by the doctor, and he stabbed me up again. So I mean, I'm a bit I'm bleeding out a little. It's okay. As it turns out, I got some super glue and a staple gun. And I'm mostly okay.
What about the NHS? Or was it going to take a long time to see you? Is what it was?
Yeah. I mean, I believe the NHS now has like a sort of in-house stabbing program, just in case you come in there and you haven't been stabbed and you feel a bit left out. As you know, right? The UK really prioritizes the equality of its communities, and so it was decided that since some people were stabbed and other people were not stabbed, the thing to do would be to make sure that everyone was equally stabbed. So I mean that's great, obviously, and I support that. A
little slice of equity, right?
Little slice of it. It's the point of equity deep inside your guts, as it were, right? How's things with you, mate? You all right?
I've been a busy little beaver. I got some housekeeping. I got some updates. I got some news for the fellas that I'm going to get to in just a moment. But first, we got Ivan Lozano 2019 for 5 gifted memberships. And boy, howdy, is there a 7-hour hangout that we did. That's thankfully behind a paywall. I'm actually going to show you a clip from that in just a moment because that ties into what I'll be talking about. And also we have Ardent Party. Yarr. For 5 loons, mate. Cheap ads. Join him shortly after Artie and Fist. He'll clear his response folder and spend a bit of time rimming the sky. You know, that wouldn't be a bad cooldown after what we're going to do to your butt cheeks, okay? That'll be. You'll have to watch it standing up after we're done, but that might be a solid cooldown.
Yeah, I've seen his streams. He likes to go up to Jarl Borgriff, and grind on him. You know what I mean? He's a very, very perverted Skyrim player. Very, very, very spicy. He puts all the weird mods on. It's I don't know, but we gotta check it out. Artie's good. Ardent Party's a good lad. He's a good lad.
Yeah, and I've seen his butt cheeks. The guy's packing. So
yeah, absolutely.
You might get it. It depends on what you want to watch, all right? The man's got a lot to offer. Is all I'm saying.
So what are we covering tonight, Artie? It seems so long we've been doing this stream. When we started, we were so innocent, bros.
How many streams
remember
are we at?
The before 4 time. I don't know. We were like at 16 the last time I checked.
I think we have enough staying power where I have to go back and number all of them at this point. I think we're at that point in the streaming relationship. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like where we exchange like house keys and we start numbering the.
Yeah, but we exchange stream keys instead.
That's right. I don't want to see you going on any strange streams, bro. I get a bit jealous, a bit.
Well, speaking of jealousy, I have started solo streaming, okay? So I know this started out as me and you only doing scenes together, and I told you I wouldn't do any solo scenes, okay? But things change, okay?
Am I not good enough for you, Marty? What about our special time? The things I whispered to you in the dark before and after the stream. Oh my God, I'm so offended.
I'm pretty much started. So for the solo streams, I might do a couple of debate reviews here and there. And a series I'm calling Checking In. So the last time I did Checking In on Misfit Patriot, tomorrow I'm doing Checking In on Mikhail Olsen, who I absolutely hate. That is tomorrow at 8 p.m. He is a Lindsay Dick rider. And he just quality cringe that the algorithm doesn't care about. It works much better as a live stream. But I will have a guest co-host. Okay?
Oh, really? Oh, you're seeing other people now?
He's also Australian.
This wasn't clear. I know you got a fetish for the Australian. No, I don't know.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's the other Paul. Right?
The other Paul, who has been in chat before.
Nice.
And what's funny is that he's a real Australian. He's really in Australia.
Oh.
So he's somehow, and my brain doesn't understand this, 16 hours ahead of me. So it's literally going to be very far into the future as we're doing that at the same time.
So it's like that, is it? I'm not Australian enough for you.
And so that is tomorrow at 8 p.m. I just remembered right now from some fellas in the chat that on Sunday, another cow, Isaiah, is going to be interviewing Joel Berry and James Lindsay, and I'm going to stream snipe it. I'm probably going to... So I'm just realizing this right now.
Sunday, right? Sunday.
Yeah, so that'll
the
be
most
probably
boring matchup. Isaiah, the apostate prophet, with James Lindsay and Joel Berry. If you're having trouble sleeping, this is the stream for you.
I don't know how I'm gonna make it entertaining. It's unbelievably boring, but I really want to show how no one watches the stream on Rumble. They don't watch the stream on YouTube, literally anywhere. So I'll probably spend the first hour just doing some prep, some general cowery beforehand, and then hopefully they go live, because the last episode that we're supposed to do live, they just didn't do. So I don't know what's going on over there, but that's on Sunday. Then, fellas, how do I say this to you? I'm declaring December Race Realism Awareness Month, okay? It's going to be a very racial month. And we managed to...
They do say that December is the most racist month. I mean, that is an actual fact. So you've chosen well. You've chosen well.
The whitest month.
The whitest month. That's right.
It's the most whitest day of the year. A white Christmas, all right?
Dreaming of a white Christmas. Yes, that's right. Exactly.
Right. And we just cast away the toxic, violent Black Friday and replace it with, a whole month of whiteatry, okay?
Does it culminate in the great festival of racismus? And also, Waffle gave like 10 memberships.
Oh my God!
Look at this madman. He's going out there spraying it around like an indiscriminate assassin.
Yeah. This is what this psychopath messages me. He goes, "Hey, what day is it?" I go, "Friday." He's literally threatening me at this point, okay? I have half a mind to alert the proper authorities on this person who's antagonizing me with support. I've never had that happen before.
It's
Leave
like
it to the fellas.
It's like reverse Findom, is what it is, right? It's like instead of he's like, I'm gonna pay you, baby. I'm gonna show up at your house. I'm gonna shower you with my thick, milky memberships. There's nothing you can do about it.
Actually, you know what? That might be a members only stream on Sunday. Now that I'm thinking about it, you know what? That that might just be members only, because like you really have to like be on board to understand what I'm doing with that conversation. That might be boring to a general audience. Okay, Saturday, it's going to be for everybody from Mikhail Olsen. Sunday, I might just do a hard R members only for that stream snipe. That just might be easier and safer. But also, in terms of race, fellas, okay? Now, I bill myself as an atheist, liberal, civic nationalist, okay? And I do that for a very specific reason that I had discussed in that 7-hour conversation. But we have locked down, and I say locked down, we have a date and a time, but the man's pretty busy. So I'm only gonna set this in stone once I actually reconfirm it with him a few days before. Eric Arval of Return to the Land agreed to sit down with us for 2 hours.
Dude, that's
and
awesome.
have a conversation.
That is really awesome. Nice one, man.
You know, that's the thing. I'm saying he said, yeah, it has to be in a couple of weeks just for scheduling, but it's going to be a few days before Christmas. He's saving the white race in the country. So if something comes up, I'm not going to, God knows what he'll see from me in the meantime as well. So bless his heart for entertaining it and saying yes thus far.
It really will be a white Christmas.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. And
Awesome.
so race realism is a hot topic, okay? And this is from behind the paywall, just a little glimpse as to the conversation that we had about race. When we say like a nigger, okay, we're not talking about Larry Elder.
Right.
So, okay. Oh, listen to everyone automatically understand what I'm fucking saying.
Exactly.
So it's like a black person that talks like that. Now, unfortunately, it's almost like, let me compare it to white people. There's white people that have done heroin in the past, but they're stuck with heroin voice their entire fucking life.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, there's black people that grew up in the hood, and so they still have that affect, but you can hear them kind of fight through it. Discernment, fellas, okay? I know that's a black guy that like fought through a bunch of the bullshit. It really comes down to like the accent. Is you see the dreads? Hey, black is the ace of spades. Those dreads. I'm like, let me hear you speak first. I'm gonna reserve a tiny bit of judgment.
Yeah, right. I'll reserve my condemnation. The judgment's already happened.
I'm ready. I'm locked and loaded for the condemnation on these motherfuckers. All right. I gotta live around them. You
now
guys live in a white paradise, okay?
Is that speech a result of, culture and education and, your liberal bullshit, or is that, something else?
Oh, dude, I don't know how much time everybody has, but I'm not a race realist. I say I don't know how much time everybody has, but I'm not a race realist.
It's the
You're not. Wait, you aren't.
I am not a race realist.
So what?
Okay. I said I don't know how much time everybody has. This was 4 hours into 7 hours. Okay?
What does that mean?
Okay. So on top of it, I'm also not a race realist, okay? I'm taking all of these identities away from the left, okay? I'm overcoming any sales objections to people being on the right. They're going to go, well, I'm an atheist. And I go, well, I am too, and I'm on the right. I'm co-opting the co-opters is the goal and the end of that, okay? But now for the hard R's that just joined, that is something that you can chew on. All right.
And we also have from Vice President now, $5 a pint of tug milk for fist on me. Thank you very much, man. Salty.
Now I will let you do your thing, Fist. I'm off my soapbox now.
No, that's all right, mate.
Now it's the Fist segment.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna just smooth in
Memeing and dreaming, baby.
with a bit of Lindsay. You know how we like to do. I can't believe that he actually posted
Turning a country into a knife and stabbing another country with it. He would lose his fucking mind if that was anybody else.
Do you understand this Tucker thrusting the blade of Israel into America? This is just so like World War II. I'm just like, what the hell, man? Like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
Think of how mooish it is, where it's actually the moos doing that themselves, but of course they're saying somebody else is making them do it. I'm sure the moos aren't doing that themselves. Oh, it's Tucker that's doing it, right? That's dividing the country literally into left and right, controlled by the blue and white on top, right? That's Tucker doing it.
It's just weird because, like, if Andrew Torba had like posted something like this, right, with somebody else's like face, right, it would be like the Vish cartoon. They'd be like, oh my god, right, like post like anti-Semitic image, but because he's on their team, anything he does is like fine. Franklin memes have been going around. This is from Isakan. I don't know if he's in the chat, but like this is pretty freaking awesome.
Oh, dude, he has the Lindsay's memes in his back pocket. It's insane.
Yeah. So I had a few interactions with the Milky Grandmaster himself.
Oh, with James Lindsay?
Oh yes.
I saw like one or two. I didn't know you guys were going steady now.
I have developed a new trolling technique where I am very polite and respectful. And this seems to really annoy the shit out of him, presumably, because, if I was just like, herder, fuck you, right? Like, he could just block me, So this was all about, what the fuck was all this about? Oh, yeah. So he's basically saying, Gen Z, how they're like angry. Well, it's all an op. Right, it's all an op. Your anger is not real. It's not caused by like conditions on the ground or anything like that. It's just an op. Okay, so to all the Gen Z listeners, right? Stop being mad about stuff. Okay, you've got nothing to be mad about, and you being mad is purely because of the Qataris or the Chinese or the Russians. There's somebody. Okay, right? Like just
hold
stop
on. Well, we can agree that at the end of the day, Gen Z being mad comes down to being
That ain't truth.
At the end of the day, once there's nothing else, it's gonna have to come down to. That's when they start speaking out. Is when the heat's getting a little hot for the JE double schnazi sticks. If you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think I do. Oh, $20.
Jesus! Well, hold on. Whip out the goodies. Whip out the goodies.
GBP.
No.
Oh yeah, the goodies. Right. Yes.
We got goodies.
Wait,
brand new goodies.
Here we go. Wait, why is it not working? There we go. Yeah. Woo!
Thank you, mate.
The only difference between a race realist and a non-race realist is mass exposure to other groups of races. Of course, not all, but more than not, that's the real part. People cannot supersede their genetic predisposition. Yes, well, I agree.
Well, in that rather long conversation, probably a good 45 minutes to maybe an hour was on and off about race realism. And it really came down more so to verbiage and who we've discussed this idea with. And just how, it's the same thing with J-spurging. How, for me 6 months ago talking about the moose, very difficult because there's just a bunch of kind of J-spurgs. I've encountered that same thing with like race realists where it's just like black dumb and it's like, well, there's if this is really an IQ conversation, surely we can have a much deeper conversation about the topic. And we had that deep conversation about it. It was a very conducive conversation.
Yeah, there are spurgs everywhere. I mean, like the J-spurgs are crazy. Oh, speaking of which, now is actually a great time to plug my other show.
Get it, girl.
I'm doing a history show now on my other channel, Newsfist, on YouTube and Rumble, and it's sort of basically like a complete history of the moose, because it's a really, really fascinating history, right? Like there's just tons of like amazing stories like connected to it, from a Gentile perspective. And the first episode's up now, and it's about the time that Julian the Apostate, the Roman Emperor, tried to help the moose to rebuild the Second Temple in about 600 AD, and there were like all these like weird explosions and portents and stuff. And it's fun. So check that out.
And also, the link is in the description of this very video, and the numbers on it did pretty good. People really did seem to enjoy it.
Yep. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. Big time. Oh, he's back. It's always.
Oh wait.
Always
that's a Tina. Hurry, mate. Come on. Give him some bouncing titties, mate. Come on. Fluff them. All right. That is sufficient. Thank you.
For the hard R fellas, Orthodox cross, come home, Artie. Go to a liturgy. Yes.
Oh,
go to a liturgy, Artie.
Dear word. Oh, hey. Maybe once, homeboy. Maybe once he stops blessing me so much. You know what? I'll go to liturgy when all of my shit gets nuked and I'm destitute, homeless on the side of the road. Then I'll need him, okay? Who calls upon him when everything is going well, okay? It's gotta be when I'm downtrodden.
dude, that's bullshit.
Wait, was that not a respectful thing to say? I'm so bad at this. That was the atheist to be really leaking out just then.
Like what the fuck? Like you have to be like overdosing on heroin in the gutter in a puddle of your own urine before you'd like, consider like turning to God.
Who the fuck is on top of the world and they're like, I need more? I'm just assuming, right? Isn't it when times are tough? I don't know. When's like God season? What usually happens in a person's life?
Christianity sound like heroin.
I'm very retarded. I have every excuse to be a communist, first of all. If I'm like, I have been subjected to so much propaganda that should have worked on me, but have bounced off my stupid fucking skull. So there's a piece of my brain missing that normal people seem to have when it comes to religion. And dude, I should have been like a gay commie, surrounded by it for decades. And I was like, that's gay, and I like capitalism the entire time. Okay.
We also have Psychedemic Slegent has become. Is that a hard R fella? Is that what
that person was already a YouTube member?
Yeah. Well, welcome,
Thank
Psychedemic Slegent. Thank you very much.
Nice fucking tits.
So yes, right. So Lindsay is like, oh my god, oh these Gen Z, they're complaining, right? Like, what they should all do, right, is move to Knoxville. I hear it's very, very nice there. Right? Like,
right.
Why aren't you living in the nice part of Tennessee? God damn you. Right? You silly Gen Xers, right? And so he's like, a lot of what they are mad about doesn't have easy solutions, to which I'm like, well, this isn't true. It's just that none of them are solutions you will even consider. That's fine. Others will do the considering. You are trying to solve a problem within the confines of the thing that created the problem in the first place. And this really got up his ass for some fucking reason. I don't know why.
Dude.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Like, it's the that's fine, others will do the considering. It was you taking the thought of him losing the power.
I mean, Master Shake's like, how have I not been blocked? Because I am always very respectful when I talk to him. Like, right, like this is my secret superpower. I'm just like, nice. So he's like, what asshole? He gave me a retweet and 2 replies for this. So,
well, that proves he's not mad.
Yeah, right. And so then he told me that this bullshit is tedious and frankly slanderous. Get a better hobby.
How is it slanderous?
This is my job, sir. Thank you very much. Right, I am gainfully employed.
Can somebody
about you, right?
Make a harsh rationalization as to how the fuck that was slanderous. Like, that was one of the most mooish 180s I've ever fucking witnessed in my entire life, dude. In terms of, like, wailing out in pain, like, no one touched you, dude. What are you talking about?
Criticizing me is very slanderous. And he's like, and sees the means of production isn't a viable solution. To which I'm like, do you just call everyone who disagrees with you woke right or a communist out of autonomic reflex? Is it a tick or some kind of political Tourette's? Because, like...
It's reflexive.
Right? And then he's like, oh, no answer. I'm like,
oh my God, dude, just say nothing. Just say nothing. This is what
no. I thought this was good. This was me like ramping the snark.
No. I mean to him. Instead of typing no answer, this is what all the Lindsay-ites do, where they'll just go, sigh, no answer. Like, just don't say anything, dude. It's just antagonism.
I would have thought that the image of Archimandrite Gabriel burning the flag of Lenin, something for which he was tortured, Orthodox saint, by the way, would be a bold enough refutation of the assertion that I am a communist. Too subtle for you? Too subtle for you, bruh? Too subtle for you? And it goes on, right? So, okay, he's like, like what, asshole? Now, obviously, what he wanted me to do, presumably, would be to briefly enumerate some of these options in a sort of capsule form that would be very, very easy.
Oh, you mean that's what he meant by like what, asshole? You mean that's what he meant when he said that?
I mean, unless he was like at a gay club, and was
like yeah, not like what, asshole? It's like what? Like which asshole?
Yeah,
like
exactly,
what, asshole?
Right? I don't know. I can't.
That was some good Lindsay translation.
No, thank you very much. But instead, I thought I'd sort of dodge this question because I knew that any answer I gave would just be like, so I was like, well, enumerate the options you will not consider and then consider them. I'm not doing your homework for you. There are many people currently working on this problem, a number of whom used to be your allies before you went woke for Israel. I have no idea why you got so twisted by this observation. Your entire platform revolves around insisting that the current interpretation of the US Constitution is the only remedy for the problems caused by the current interpretation of the US Constitution. I mean, this is just frankly true. This guy's like, nice dodge. Oh yeah, thank you very much. Random and on. But this is basically true. So yeah, that's basically it. That's my that's our Lindsay segment. I don't know if he's done anything like really stupid. I haven't really been sort of like keeping an eye.
There's other things going on at this point. He's just like desperate for attention, right?
Well, I mean, because see, this is the thing. He shows up on my X algorithm because I interact with him, right? Like this is what X is like now, right? If you interact with someone, they show up on your feed. So you wind up in this sort of like weird, like, if you interact with people, they show. I should just start ignoring it, but I can't, mate. I try and pull away, and those milky udders, they just draw me back, man. I don't know what it is.
We got a super chat if you want to whip out.
Oh, we did get a super chat, didn't we?
Whip out something dancy, slide into something a little nice for the people if they're going to be let's kind to us.
Groip Gang Flex for $10. Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.
Guys, what the hell is going on with Candace? She's insane. Calling Nick Fair as the cherry on top. Merry Crimbus.
I've been avoiding Candace, dude. It's that like, hey, I like crazy black women as much as the next guy, okay? But she is not. I don't want to defend her. I could just make fun of her, but it's. I glance at her and I'm like, there's other things to follow. She doesn't. Okay, I can put it to you this way: she doesn't really follow a story arc. Fuentes follows a story arc. In terms of like a wrestling gimmick, Nick Fuentes has, your Stone Cold Steve Austin, your really, really S tier. Candace Owens is kind of like Duke the Dumpster Drozy at this point. She was in the Rumble. She did pretty good like 1 year, but it's really hard to follow her through. There's not really a story arc. She's like going back on what she says constantly. She's like constantly duplicitous. I don't know. It's really hard for me to like try to make her into content, if that makes sense.
I don't know what's going on, right? Like the last thing I really heard was that thing that the French are trying to assassinate her, and I was like, I mean, it could be true, right? Like, the people that she's criticizing do have a bit of a hard on for like assassinating people that criticize them, but I haven't seen any evidence.
Exactly. That's
right?
it. When Nick throws stuff out, there's a lot behind it that you can supplement what he's saying with. Her, it's just very hearsay.
It's it's woman TV, right?
Yeah.
And I don't watch woman TV, right? Like generally speaking, right? So
yeah.
What we need, right, is like a woman like who's a friend of the show who can like watch all the Candace for us, because I just can't. I'm just not into it, mate.
I know. I'm checked out too. It's like a women crime drama is what she's going for right now.
So we do have a bit of UK news. I know most of you are Americans, but I feel like a bit of UK news is like good, just to sort of appraise you all of the horror going on here. And hopefully, I don't know. Like
always remind us how much worse it is where you are. That makes us feel better.
Maybe you could do like not an invasion per se, not a coup, but maybe like just a coulette, right? Like just a mini coup, right? Like look, the Americans have strode across the globe, right? Overthrowing communist regimes left and right, okay? And unlike Iraq, I genuinely think there is a good chance you would be welcomed as liberators. Well, by like half the population. Anyway, other half I can't guarantee. But so you all remember this, right? This is from the Democratic Socialist Alliance. Is that the DSA?
Yeah.
Their conference in pre-COVID. So it must have been 2020 maybe or something like that. Check this out.
If we want to defeat capitalism, we are going to need a party that will organize working people to fight for the demands that we want and to win socialism. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's win socialism. Yeah.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against name, chapter, pronouns?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Yeah, okay, right, yeah.
If we want to
Please
Now-
do not use gendered language. Oh my God.
Now, fellas, this is a classic clip, okay? I assume all the fellas have seen this. It's been around since 2019. Now, have you ever thought to yourself, what's the only thing that would make that better? And I think that, even though you haven't vocalized it, would be some sort of Michael Myers Shrek Scottish accent tied to it.
That's right. That's right. And now we're going to hear from the Scottish.
Non-binary!
The non-binary.
I'm fucking
Scottish
non-binary, mate!
Check this shit out.
Hello, my name's Mick Bailey Gibson, and I'm a non-binary person. Give it up for the trans people, everybody!
Person!
Thank you, comrades. And it is an honour and a privilege to be stood speaking on this podium today. The reason I am saying yes to socialism in this political statement is because as a trans comrade, as a disabled comrade, as a mad comrade, and a neurodivergent comrade. Hello, my name's Mick Bailey Gibson.
You know, that person also looks like a bowl of jello careening over side to side.
Comrades. The way they always do, like, comrades. What exactly is a comrade? That sounds very, very dicey, right?
Isn't it easy enough to make fun of the fucking Scots, dude? Do they have to do this?
Shut up, silly woman.
Volume on that's still a bit low. We got to sort that out.
That's good enough.
So I got a few of these. This just for a bit of like background reference. The gays, the trannies, and the Muslims have teamed up in the UK.
What? Into one object like a Megazord? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, basically, it's basically right. Like from the Muslims' perspective, they're like, these idiots will help us take power, and then once power has been achieved, we will execute them all. Right? Like
they could say that to their faces, and they would go, "Yeah, we hate ourselves. That's fine. We'll do it."
Yeah. So they called it Your Party, right? Which is just. I mean,
Genius.
I suppose it's better than the Democratic Gay and Muslim Socialists of the United Kingdom, or whatever, right?
They're just getting out in front of South Park for when South Park says that to make fun of them. They're just getting out in front of it.
And so they had their first conference to decide on whether they should be led by one comrade or many comrades, right?
Wait, are you serious? What's the quantity difference?
40 comrades.
Wait,
is the decision that they came to. So like, one of the things about these kinds of parties, right, is that it really demonstrates the sort of perverse ridiculousness of too much democracy, right? Like you get all these people, they're like, democracy. Yeah, but you can go too far in anything, right? And listen to this.
Well, hold on, Fist. We're gonna vote if we can go too far in anything before you say that. You're sounding like a dictator right now, okay?
I want to vote on whether gravity is real or not, right? I feel very strongly that fundamental principles of like reality need to be voted on to see whether we agree with them. And if you disagree, you're a fascist, right?
So,
I don't want to.
Christos member for 3 months. I'm so embarrassed for my clan right now. What the fuck is your clan? Is he Scottish?
He's probably Scottish. I'm sorry to surface that, Christos.
Or is he some sort of amalgam shape, and that's his clan? I'm just wondering what his clan is.
We have last remembrance of for $5. Does that thing identify as a haggis? I don't know, mate. I don't know. And Psychedemic Slagent for €5. You got to be pulling me plonker. That looks like the haggis ripped while boiling.
Back-to-back haggises. Wow. Absolute haggis, dude. They're haggis.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Thank you very much, guys. Yes, they decided on maximum democracy.
We're arguing for maximum democracy within a party. Traditional parties, hitherto in all existing society have
hitherto in all existing societies is like literally ripped out of like, I don't know whether it's the Communist Manifesto or Das Kapital, but that is like textbook Karl Marx, right? Hitherto in the material conditions of all pre-existing societies. Oh, if only I could.
You want to know what's not textbook? That body. Is that a guy or a girl?
It's I don't know. It's probably a proud they them of some kind. Just listen to this bullshit.
Reflected in their structures, practices, and modes of behaviour, the society that they come from. And what we're saying is that our party has to be structured in a way that it reflects the type of society we're trying to build, because we genuinely believe that without a democratic party, you'll never be able to build a democratic society.
So, translation, because they are trying to destroy society, and the party that they use to destroy society must reflect the society that they are trying to build, they have destroyed the party that they were going to use to destroy society. Awesome. Wait, hey, we got...
The only way those types of people could get into power is if another group was putting them in power to destabilize a country.
That's right.
There's no merit system where they would actually rise to ranks of power.
No, that's why you like these are the classic useful idiots, right? When the actual proper like communists were talking about these people, these were the useless idiots, right? They use them to get into power, and then once they're in power, they're all up against the wall, basically, right? Because we're like, well, we have enough of your nonsense now. We've got control. Big time for another $5. Thank you, big time.
Mate.
Let our powers combine. LGBT together we form Captain Copulation Transmitted Plane.
Dude, it really is like a Megazord. He looks like he's from lesser parts of other LGBTs.
He looks like something out of, oh my God, what was that fucking show? You wouldn't have seen it. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Oh, mate, that was just
that guy literally looks like you know how the hot dog is comprised of all of the leftover parts? He's a human hot dog in that regard.
And I just thought I'd finish this little segment off. This is from the look, I'm not making this up, right? Your party. This is literally what they're called. This is your party. Democracy. Right? This is their their promo video. Just check out how cringe this is.
Good morning, conference.
Your party is the name of your party.
Yay.
We are building a movement rooted in dignity.
Oh, trust that guy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Ordinary people first.
By watching you, they will get used to you. Make your party the party of all the people.
This conference has been organized by a group of dedicated activists.
It's alien to be lack of compassion, lack of justice, lack of peace, lack of wanting to get together. That's alien to my country.
6,000 affordable homes on track.
You notice, right? When the Muzzy comes up, he's all about, we want more stuff, we want more money, right? All the whites and shit are just like, oh, we want like
justice
fairness and democracy and all this like abstract stuff, right? But the Muzzy gets up and he's like, we want to build more houses, we want like more welfare benefits. Oh, God.
We want to name the streets after Islamic conquerors.
Yeah, exactly.
Or to deliver winter fuel payment for our pensioners, school uniform grants. Your party has the opportunity to take policies like this nationwide.
In the 6th richest country in the world, life can be better.
Hope, despite everything, truly despite everything, must be the most revolutionary act there is.
Wow.
There you go. You've all got brain cancer now. Enjoy.
That is only a parody. I mean, how do you make fun of that unless you just try to accurately emulate it?
It is sort of peak clown world, really, right? Like, you couldn't actually exaggerate it anymore, right? Like how would you even exaggerate? Like the Scottish haggis thing walks up with like a dildo in each hand and is like, give it up for the trans people. Woo! Like my bad dragon dildos. I mean, like, what the hell? I'm probably going to get arrested for this, So, the Franklin memes have been going around, and I just thought I'd like share a few of these because, like, these are pretty fucking awesome. Franklin deports Dora. No,
oh my god! Look at who's filming at the head. They're filming at the bottom.
Yeah, I know, right? Franklin defends the public library. Why is it that like the whites are always represented by like amphibious, like green amphibians, like Pepe or Franklin the turtle? I don't know why, but
it's an actual societal phenomenon that can't really be explained.
It totally works. Franklin explains what Dr. Fauci deserves. Oh, mate. Oh, I can't believe he's still walking around.
We do have Franklin emojis in the chat, by the way. It has been updated.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Franklin is the kind of tired that sleep just won't fix. Otherwise known as Wednesday,
Right.
Franklin learns about George Floyd's autopsy.
Media literacy, facts versus narrative, toxicology.
God. Dude, these are so good, man. Franklin laments what must be done.
Yeah, the future that you want to have is gonna have to go through unbelievable violence to happen.
God, man.
Yeah,
these are so good. Sorry.
The people that like created him say like, didn't they try and cry about people not doing this? Were they like, hey, we disavow anyone doing that? As if the internet's gonna go, okay, well, you won fair and square. I guess we'll stop now.
Yep. It's in the hands of the meme lords now. This is my favorite one. Franklin retakes Constantinople. Based Franklin. The Lord is with you. What's this one? Franklin meets Joe Biden.
Yeah, we all really forgot about when our president was sniffing children in public. We really do forget about that, don't we?
I always wanted to know what a turtle smells like. I bet it smells real good. It's been a while since I've had to whip out my Joe Biden impression. Probably
keep it in, okay?
Franklin discovers what books they burn. Franklin calls Redditors fags.
Wow! Look at how real and lifelike the Redditors are.
So good. These are so fucking good. Franklin, he's a bit on hard times now. Franklin's bitch better have his money. And I think we're nearing the end. Franklin saves a woman from a crazy lunatic on the subway.
I didn't see that one.
Oh my god. No, we got a few more. Franklin and his friends defend the Christmas market. That's for all you Europeans. Oh no, because they had Waukesha, actually. So
yeah,
that's applicable everywhere.
See, we're not so different, you and I.
That's right. We come together over so much. Yeah, that's the end. That's the end of the Franklin memes. I think we've got a couple of super chats actually as well.
Yes, sir.
Total blackout painting for 10 US Federal Reserve dollars.
Oh, hold on. Let's get fancy.
Wait.
Let's get done up from the front up.
Here we go. Oh, come on. What's going on with that? Yeah, we go. Have a dancing clown, Pepe. TBP. My youngest kids grew up watching that show. I hated that stupid turtle. I'm glad he's getting reformed. Now we can have a turtle and a frog.
Isn't that great? He's getting reformed. I like it. See? We're reforming him. What's wrong with reform?
Yeah, that's right.
I like that.
We're transing him. Except into like something based.
Yeah, we just want to reform the moose. That's all I want to do. I like that. I'm going to use that going forward.
Newsfist, that's a honkler. Yes, yeah, I know it's a honkler. Thank you. My Pepe law. So,
We got Andrew's Animatics for €2. Is that a euro? Do you guys still do pounds? What country is that? Spain. It's a Spanish
that's
euro. Am I doing it right?
No, it's a euro, right? The European Union has swallowed practically all the countries in its orbit. Repeal the 90s globally, love from Spain anglers. Oh, well,
thank you, mate.
Love to you too. If I could, hola, burrito, nacho. I speak Spanish, right?
That's that. I wouldn't. Oh, that is brown stuff, buddy. That is not Anglo cuisine. All right, bud. Whoa, where did that come from?
So we have a bit of Moo Watch for you all. There's another conference on this week. Apparently, it's conference season. So there must be like a whole group of sort of moos who, like, towards the end of the year, all they do basically is just go to New York and just go to these conferences for like 4 or 5 weeks. It must be quite the to do, I imagine. So this is Elon Carr, the Israeli American Council CEO and former U.S. anti-Semitism czar. Didn't know that the U.S. had an anti-Semitism czar.
That sounds like something you'd make up.
Yeah, I know, right? Tells a Mooish conference in New York that they need to do to our enemies here what Israel did to its enemies there. So you're gonna start carpet bombing U.S. cities? Is this? I mean, is that a threat? I mean, it sounds like one.
If 2 years ago, I mean, just go back 2 years ago, Israel was on its knees and its existence was in doubt, and the threats it faced seemed insurmountable. If I had predicted to you then any one of the miraculous things that have happened in the last 2 years, any one of them, pick one: Lebanon, Syria, Hamas, the hostages, Iran, and the U.S. involvement, any one of those things, you would have said that the stress of the moment drove me to delusion. And they all happened in 2 years. And so we are living in a time of miracles and unprecedented opportunities. And the challenge for us here, and with this I'll end because this is key, the challenge for us here is to leverage Israel's successes into our successes and our victories here, because we are one people. Israel's weakness is ours and Israel's strength is ours. And now that Israel has turned the entire geopolitical situation on its head, our job in the diaspora is to leverage those wins and win here. Do to our enemies here what Israel did to its enemies there.
The diaspora?
The IAC is focused.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
I mean,
the diaspora, what does that mean? Does that mean all throughout the world?
That ain't I say truth.
I wouldn't want to speculate, mate. It might be a little anti-citrus. Oh God,
dude, can we agree that there's like a public convention for the Moos 2 or 3 times every week, year round? There's a different one every stream. No, different one. There's a different handful every fucking stream we do.
I don't know whether it's year round, right? I think it was Lindsay, actually. Someone on Twitter was basically saying, like, it's conference season.
I don't fucking believe anything he fucking says, dude.
But even if it's just like a season, it's still so many, right? Like,
oh yeah, we all know they hibernate at the beginning of the year.
That's right, exactly. So this is Josh Hammer.
Isn't this the guy that said that Europeans have it in their DNA to be anti-Semitic or something like that?
That's the guy. I don't know how was he got a hold of me. Look, he doesn't want much, right? All he wants is for Trump and Vance to stand up in front of the world and condemn Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes, right? It's not a big ask, right? Check this shit. Oh my God, this guy's got the fucking most annoying voice in the world.
Oh my God.
There is some probably 2028 finagling here. JD seems to spend a good amount of time on Twitter, honestly, these days. Maybe too much time, honestly. He spends he tweets a lot, and if you spend this much time on social media, it is possible.
Well, he is vice president, Mike.
He is vice president. If you spend this much time on social media, it is possible.
Dude, pause this.
That
Pause
you might think
this is really good AI. There's no way this is real. There's no way it's real. Because all you would have to do is add like a slight cartoon filter to it and go, oh, wow, that's completely fake. The voices can't be real. They can't really sound like that.
It's like even more nasally and annoying than Ben Shapiro. It's like, it's like Walmart Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
I mean, can we have Ben Shapiro? We have Ben Shapiro at home. This is the Ben
Well, yeah,
Shapiro.
I mean, this is what happens in Chicago. It's like, finally, Lori Lightfoot's out, and fucking Brandon Johnson comes, and you go, it gets worse? You mean it gets mooier? It
can always get mooier, mate.
No.
Right? Like, we have yet to plumb the full depths.
Like Matt Gaetz have thought that there was a very massive anti-Semitic, frankly anti-American constituency. So you might see some sort of kind of cynical finagling here as well. But it's not ultimately sustainable for the vice president. And it's not ultimately sustainable to him for multiple reasons, but the most obvious of which is that Nick Fuentes has come after him personally in the most disgusting terms imaginable. He's become a fat race traitor for marrying his beautiful wife, Usha, and they have amazing children there. So, I mean, I would like to see both of these men. I would like to see both the vice president and the president say something about this. I'm not asking.
Oh my God, they're nagging like women.
Right, some sort of kind of Oval Office.
Do you even know what you want?
On the Resolute desk, look into the camera,
and say what?
I mean, say something about this. There.
Say what?
He just wants, right, Trump and Vance
stop what they're doing. Stop running the country.
Right at the Resolute desk, right. Look into the camera. Right, like the kind of announcement they do when they've like just bombed like another country.
Yeah, right.
Be like, actually, I condemn Tucker Carlson. He's a bad guy, and anyone who likes Tucker, you can all fuck off. You can go and jump off a bridge. We don't want your votes. Doesn't matter how many of you there are. We hate you. You can fuck off,
dude. Like, you can tell they're all raised by women. This is what them and the blacks really have in common, huh? Households just run by women.
Yep. Apparently, the wife was watching the Milo Tucker thing, right?
Yeah.
Which I didn't watch, and
Milo is tough to get through for me.
Yeah, she was saying that Milo basically said that one of the sort of things that you get in a lot of gay men is because they're raised by controlling mothers and absent fathers, is that they then go into society and they just start torturing like random pretty women. And he was basically saying this is why the fashion industry is the way that it is. Like, they're churning out all this like really horrible shit. I don't know. It sounds like an interesting interview.
It's also easy to subvert them to align with communists and with the Moos because they are inherently duplicitous. They need to hide their affect and looking and seeming gay. So like from a very early age, they learn how to be two different people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not even asking necessarily for JD to say I formally renounced Tucker Carlson.
Then
that's not
what
going
do
to
you
happen.
want,
I mean,
Rod? Where do you want to
my
eat?
expectations are realistic.
Where are we going to eat?
I'm not necessarily hoping for something that's just not going to happen there, but something to condemn in no uncertain terms. Fuentes, Groyperism, the rise of anti-Semitism.
I don't want Trump to denounce them. I just want him to condemn them in no uncertain terms.
Yeah, dude, constantly duplicitous, constantly backhanded.
Oh my God!
And the whole time you go, all right, fine. Like this is all the Moos bank on. All right, fine, they'll do it. All right,
and then they'll run around and they'll be like, did you see like Trump condemn? I bet you they're leaning on Vance. Right, like in the background, and being like, if you don't condemn Fuentes, if you don't condemn Tucker, then it's going to go very bad for you in the next election.
They always imply that.
Our support,
This now explains for the last year, James Lindsay constantly saying, "You're not going to want to do that." Okay, we'll see who's on the losing side. Now we know why he's saying that. This is all they do is they make these implicit threats. I think we got some soupies to catch up on.
Oh, we do have soupies. Okay, wait, hang on. Let me get the thing up. Let's see. Last remembrancer for $5 Full force moo. The shills are alive with the sounds of mooing. Thanks very much, mate. Double mumble for $5. I'm here late and I heard this troglodyte say Usha Vance is beautiful. Makes sense. Bro, disavow.
I support.
She's lovely. And big time.
Thank you, mate.
Again for $5. Thank you, big time. Ben Shapiro, either help Israel or will nuke Europe. I don't care about the browning of America. Yeah, they are. They are a bit. I feel like they really need to work on their PR.
They don't. They're sloppy as hell with it.
And Deadpool Kid for $5.
TPK.
Israel, if I fall, we all fall. The rest of the world, what?
Yeah. Oh, you guys didn't know that you agreed to that? You guys didn't read the fine print?
Yeah, you didn't read the fine print, did you? There's a very high interest rate on that sort of eternal debt that everyone owes.
Fist on that. Trust fist on that high interest rate. Okay.
Oh yeah,
he's still sorely paying off his.
Very sorely, mate. My rectal reconstruction surgery is going to be like, mate. Now the reason why I wanted to talk about this is that you might recall that I've been talking for a while about the Lindsay-ites and the sort of kosher centrists saying we have to stick to the center, right? We've got people aren't going to wear this horrible anti-Semitism, and I kept saying, okay, well look, I need to see some polling data on this. Okay, right? You're just asserting this thing, right? You've got no idea how popular these views are. You would use polling to figure this out. And the Manhattan Institute, which is very kosher centrist, by the way.
Oh yeah, we covered that on the Vish episode with Susie, who funded the Manhattan Institute. So
right, so
there it is again.
So Susie's funded the Manhattan Institute, and this is the polling that they have come out with. Now, this is a bit of a sneaky poll. The questions are quite leading. About the only proper question they ask that isn't a leading question is about the trans thing, because that makes sense. Okay, right? Now they're like, your view on femininity, the view on the system, and okay, so just to give you an idea, okay, right? So the current GOP, this is everyone in the Republican Party. When it comes to the people who break the rules to get ahead, which comes closer to your view? Even if neither is exactly right, we should hold ourselves to a high standard, follow the rules, and make sure those who break them are punished.
Follow the
overwhelming
rules.
Support.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Health and vaccines basically split. Modern medicine does more harm than good. And this one is very, very interesting. Which statement comes closest to your view about America's economic and social system? 37% preserve it. America's system works well overall. So when we change things, we should do so gradually and carefully. And 52% reform it. America's system isn't perfect, but we should fix what's broken and protect what works. 7% is burn it down. Okay, right? So what they're really trying to figure out here is how many radicals there are in the GOP. That's right. What this whole poll is basically about. Now, because they can't, or they don't want to, directly ask questions about how much do you trust the government, right? What they should have just said is how much do you trust the government? Instead, they're using proxies for this, right? One of which is how many conspiracy theories do you believe in? Artie, I think they're talking about you, mate, right?
That's not even quantifiable. What does that even mean? How many thoughts do you think?
Well, there are 6 conspiracy theories listed here. Number 1, COVID-19 leaked from a lab in China. How the fuck is that a conspiracy theory? You see what they're doing here, right? All of these are really questions about how much you trust the prevailing narrative, right? They really should have said, how much do you trust the narrative about these events, okay? So 65% of the Republican Party believe that COVID leaked from a lab in China. 51% believe that the 2020 presidential election was hacked and fraudulent.
Yeah.
41% believe that 9/11 was an inside job, basically, right? 41%, 48% think it's false. So this is a massive split in the party, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this next one was what got everyone's fucking peepees alike.
Yeah.
37% of the Republican Party believe that the unpleasantness of the moves in Mustache, Germany was greatly exaggerated or did not happen as historians describe, versus 56% who think this is false. 8% are undecided.
Now, do you want to know the most? Not for me. For me and you, this is great. But the reason why that's so harrowing to them is because just around the same amount of people that believe that moose in the Holocaust were it was greatly exaggerated or didn't happen, as historians describe, is right around the same amount that think the fucking moon landing was fake.
Yeah, exactly.
Not good. Not good.
I think this is why
the
they
moon
put
landing
in one next, because then they can be like, oh, it's just a fringe conspiracy theory, right? Like, who doesn't believe in the moon landing, bros? And underneath that, 33% believe that childhood vaccines cause autism. But see, again, right, only 48% say that that's false. There's a large undecided group in the middle, right? So this assertion that we're constantly hearing, that it's a small fringe group of people, no, it isn't. It's not. It's a third of your party. This is really funny, this one as well. Racism in the current GOP. Regarding individuals who openly express the following, what comes closest to your view regarding their role in your party and political movement? Racist views. 15%. I am a racist.
Who the fuck categorize? Oh my god. Dude.
Right. So 15% of the party are like, yeah, I'm racist, bro. I just don't care anymore, right? 22% are like, I've had enough of cancel culture. This should not count against them. See how deceptively this is framed, right? 16% are like, we can try and get their votes if it's useful, but they should not be in positions of power or leadership. So it's the gatekeeping position. 36%, they aren't welcome, and I don't represent what they stand for. Okay, so this is kind of split. Obviously, they'll be saying, and 11% undecided. So they'll be saying, oh, well, we just have the numbers, but only just, not very. And if they take the undecideds, it'll be 50-50. The views on anti-citrucism, 12% are like, yeah, brah. 19% are tired of cancel culture. 12% are like, we can get their votes. And 48%, they aren't welcome, and they don't represent what I stand for. So
they're giving the data for the wedge that's happening.
Yes. Now this is important. 48% is not even a majority in the party anymore, right?
Ooh.
That's how bad shit.
And that's what they need. They need it to be declarative. You can't half-ass that one.
Now this is crazy. Now this develops further into the narrative that they're basically trying to go with, right? They have the core Republicans, who are the boomers, and the new entrant Republicans, right? Who have
love making up names for groups, dude. They just love it.
Recently joined. The people who have recently joined. They say later in the thing that they suspect like quite a few radical leftists have come over, but this is quite startling. To what extent do you agree with the following statement? In American politics, the use of political violence is sometimes justified. 27% of all US voters, right? 30% of the entire GOP, 30% of the Democrat Party. So this would suggest, again, right, like if this sample is correct, that the left and the right, broadly speaking, are basically neck and neck on this, okay? Republican voters generally, 37%. Core Republican, these are the boomers, 20%. But the new entrant GOP, so this would be like the new people, 54%. Now, it's interesting the way that they break this down. If you believe in only 1 to 2 of these conspiracy theories...
It doesn't matter what the conspiracy theories are, by the way, which is odd.
Yeah. So, like I said, this is measuring your distrust in the system, is the metric that they're trying to get at, okay, right? So if you only believe in 1 or 2 of these theories, then you mostly trust the system. You see what I'm saying, right?
Yep.
3 to 4 theories, 25%. And if you believe in 5 to 6 theories, this shoots up to 70%. So this is the way they're going to go. They're going to attack conspiracism. They're going to make the argument that it is the conspiracy theories that is driving radicalization, and they're going to try and clamp down on it. The other really crazy fucking thing is
real quick,
that
real quick, TPK, $5, mate.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, wait, we need to do super chats, don't we? Hang on, wait.
No, there's one. There's just one I got. It's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. High school friends hanging out. Guys, what kind of pizza do you want? That one friend. Do you condemn Nick Fuentes? Yeah, did you see when Misfit Patriot recorded himself talking to his Uber driver, being like, "Yeah, see, he doesn't even know who Nick Fuentes is." The fucking guy's legitimately mentally ill. I believe I covered that in my stream of him.
Right. So if the funny thing is, if you break this down by race into like political violence, I think there's a big thing. So they do DI, transgender, all the good things,
All right.
carrots.
Yep. Moving along.
Right? Peace through strength. Now, this is one of the questions that basically is like, Israel, do you support the United States like being like militarily around the world and peace through strength? And there's broad support. But what that question is really asking is, do you support US foreign wars for Israel? But they're not going to like, put that. Oh yeah, this is really funny. So look at the way they ask this question. Instead of asking about Israel directly, they ask about 3 different countries. And they give you like a little yellow color thing, right? This is very, very, woolly. So 55% of Israel people believe that Israel is an important and effective ally of the United States, opposing our common enemies, working with us on military intelligence and technological matters, and serving as a bulwark against Islamic terrorism. There's only really one country that would be like relevant to. I suppose you could apply it to Qatar. 23% are taking the JD Vance position, which is like they're just a country. And 12%, it's a settler colonial state and a liability that drags us into wars we have no business in, antagonizing Muslims and the rest of the world with its violence. The use of settler colonial state in that framing is very, very leftist and was probably deliberately picked so that people would not pick that option. Okay, let's see. So there was something about political violence broken down by race. I think it was anti-citrucism broken down by race, and they discovered that actually the blacks and the Hispanics are much, much more anti-citrus than the whites are.
Well, they weren't keeping it. Just search the page. Apple F, dog.
It's not in there.
But it's amazing how, these black Hebrew Israelites have been flying under the radar as they've been screaming in public on the side of the road for fucking 50 years.
No, here it is. Here it is. Holocaust denial and minimization.
Holy shit.
Nearly 4 in 10 of the current GOP believe it was exaggerated. Younger men are especially likely to hold this view. 54% of men under 50, so that's a majority, right? Versus 39% of women under 50. Among men over 50, 41% agree compared to 18% of women. Racial divides are particularly striking. 77% of Hispanic GOP voters, only 30% of white GOP voters, and 66% of black GOP voters.
You want to know what reaction this elicits? Do you know what we did for you people in the civil rights movement? You know that boils their blood.
Yeah. They'll be like, how dare you? How dare you? Now, I think I've got just a couple more clips.
All right. We got to get to the meat, baby.
Yeah, we need to get to the meat.
Oh, yeah. I also have to show Elon Musk somehow acknowledging that white people are a thing, but also not going full-throated. Very on the fence with this guy.
So I think Shapiro might have got a copy of this poll beforehand, because he's basically coming out and saying, we can't rely on the center anymore because the center doesn't exist. Guess who was saying that? Oh, just me. Everyone said I was crazy. But right, like
that's because you were fucking naked holding your dick in the subway when you said it.
Yeah, well, okay. I admit that probably reduced the credibility of my
time
message,
and place, Fist.
Wait, we got more super chats before we get on to the next video.
Sure.
Master Shake,
Shake,
$2.
always welcome.
Good to see you, Shake. My R is so hard right now.
Oh, it's gonna get even fucking harder, kid. Oh, it's gonna get hard.
Keep it in your pants, mate. And Phoenician, for
Thank you, mate.
$4.99. Thanks very much, mate. I love that stats can be made to say what you like. It seems to be balanced by stats will always say things you didn't expect.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way this is kind of framed is like, yes, it's a crisis, but it's manageable. I think is what they're trying to, is the message they're trying to like yes, a message is being undermined, but if we just massage and censor and threaten and cajole and cancel enough, we can make everyone love us again.
It's the moose sandwich. We acknowledge the thing and then describe how it's a problem and what we can do about it, and the prescription to it after.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for them.
The algorithms are destroying America.
Crank it.
This is my informed view.
Sounds like it should go.
Yeah, I mean, there we go. Don, look at us come together. As soon as the reason I say this is because the TikTok and X algorithms in particular program for virality.
Yes.
And so they are programming for what is the strongest response, the strongest emotional response. Absolutely can be manipulated by outside actors. You've actually seen quite a bit of this on both TikTok as well as X. But people who are then in the real world use that as a substitute for polling. For example, so you see politicians, and if they get a lot of retweets, they think what they're saying is popular, and then they do more of it. And
Maybe he hadn't seen the polling data.
Dude,
because
you mean like all the fucking Lindsay-ites and kosher centrists thinking that the fucking engagement on X is real in any way, shape, or form, and like it means something?
I mean, no, this is the narrative they were going with. Twitter isn't real life. It's all just a bunch of bots. There's this huge...
But also it's really dangerous. But also Elon Musk has to do something about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you'll see it bleed over into the real world. Trends that you would never get if you just walked around and talked to normal humans suddenly start popping up when you talk around with normal humans because they've been watching it online and it's been really, really pushed. And so, when people say, how do we get back to normal? My first recommendation is to do something that actually is the opposite of what our industry should be saying, which is get offline, like actually turn off your phone and go to a place with actual human beings and have conversations with those people.
Yeah, touch grass, you bigot, right?
This is literally from the Michaela Olsen video that I'm going to be watching tomorrow. And he says that he is addicted to social media, is what he says. It is very pathetic, and you're not going to want to miss it. It's him saying this without attention, money, accomplishments, or anything like that. But because of X, because of social media, because he just says whatever the kosher centrists want to hear, and he sees that he gets 12,000 views on something on X, his brain goes off like a fucking pinball machine, and he can't stop himself. I swear to God, dude.
And, this is where I make my non-religious religious pitch. Everybody needs a form of Sabbath. You should get off your phone on Friday night. You should get back on your phone on Saturday night and just be completely disconnected from everything that's going on and be in a place where everybody who is, bonding over values and over shared things. That the more online we are, the more polarized we are.
I think Ben is encouraging people to join the Orthodox Church.
Well, that's bizarre, because he says the more online we are, the more polarized we are. I would say we have a very diverse community of people here, and I don't feel like we're polarized at all, actually.
No, well, he's saying, one day a week, right, you should get off your phone and go to, a religious service, maybe at your local Orthodox church. Or is that... Am I reading him correctly, or do you think that's not what he's saying?
Yeah, I mean, what else could he be saying in that hat? What else could he be implying?
The way that we viewed politics for decades in the country. The more informed you are, the better the electorate's going to be. And it turns out that because our informational ecosystem is so polluted, and because it is actually programming to the id inside all of us, what that means is that probably the more time you're spending on X or the more time you're spending on TikTok, maybe the less informed you are, and also the more polarized you are, and the more out of touch with reality you are.
That's true. People think that they live on. I have a producer who lives on Twitter. And every time I ask him for something, he goes to Twitter. And I said, do you ever do research other than Twitter?
Touch some grass.
Yeah, touch some grass. But I do.
Oh, he said the word touch some grass.
That's what Michaela Olsen says. And when Michaela Olsen says it, he goes, touch grass as they say. Mind you, the kid's 30, and he's talking like he's fucking 60. What is talking to Don Lemon and David Pakman? That's for donors. That's not for the regular fucking public, this conversation.
That is rich. Right, from fucking Shapiro, who literally started the goddamn culture war with his SJWs wrecked stuff. Like now that it's going against them, oh no, you should get off the internet. They really do not like X.
Well, you want to know
Right.
why it's an imprudent thing to say? Because didn't the Daily Wire just start selling lifetime fucking memberships? And now he's telling, of course, everyone bought a lifetime membership. He doesn't give a shit what you do now. He already. Oh, we got some soupies.
We got
Get your dancing shoes out. Start tapping for the people. Goddamn you.
Have a Pepe love heart. Thank you very much. Cousin Bowling for $10. Just dropping off a little money to my two favorite straight guys.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Just dropping off a little money to my two quote-unquote favorite quote-unquote straight guys. Thanks again for last weekend, Artie. Well, hey, I'm not going to apologize to what I did to your asshole. All I'm going to say is...
And now the Chad does what the Chad wants, and no one is stopping him because Chad does what Chad wants.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You deserve what you tolerate. Oh, let's get the suit Pepe up. Thank you very much, mate. The US and Australia have been better friends and partners than Israel will ever attempt to be. Australia is our greatest ally. Oh, thank you very much, mate. But
it's tough over there,
commies
man.
are taking it over. So
I know, but at
at
least it's an island. That really is the saving grace. That you can't just flood the border.
Well, you know, they're doing a really good job of it. Actually, there are these things called planes. Phoenician
Drat, spoiled again. I can't. Us Americans never think of planes, do we? Well, you just think it's a border wall.
Take my virtual fiat money, fake internet people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And
We are fake, but your money's very real.
A huge King super chat. Look at
Look at the sits flowing like the Nullarbor River.
Super chats flow through us like water through the buffalo. Thank you very much, Fozamaro. Did you see that you two got a haters super chat call out on the latest Adam and Sitch stream?
What?
They said you're trying to copy their style, but white nationalists.
Fuck yeah! Bro, if you could please, what the fuck? I need to see that. If you could, I need to see that. Oh my god!
Adam
If you could,
appreciated your channel metrics. Wow, mate, we're getting noticed.
I gotta see that. I mean, it is. It literally is a white nationalist Adam and Sitch. I mean, I've essentially said that publicly. Where it's I want it's called Artie and Fist because Adam and Sitch because you know they're not right wing enough. And people get really bored with what they're talking about. So I guess if he sees this, like, yeah, like you guys opened up a market and you're not listening to your audience. You're both kind of pushing out on right wing topics. So I'm here to fill that gap, fellas. Thank you very much. I am somewhat born from their community. I used to watch their the 12-hour streams on Sundays, like the whole thing. So,
and $2 from Appalachian Goy. There is only one Orthodox church. I agree. Thank you very much, Mr. Goy. Right. Okay. So we'll just finish this section off, and then we'll get into Crowder. Now, it looks like one of the tactics that they are pursuing is to try and basically start up the cancel pigs in Europe. There's like a whole thing going on at the moment with the UK and Ofcom and the EU Digital Services Act trying to like basically wedge their way into X. And they're like, the EU just levied them like $120 million fine for not giving them access to like stuff. Because what they want is what they had during COVID, right? Where all of these like cancel fuck pigs basically have someone to call inside every single social media company, and they can call them up and be like, oh, we don't like that, remove that, delete that channel, destroy that person's life. Like, we don't like it. But Musk, the Chad that he is, seems to be resisting, and it looks like there's about to be an act floated in the US called the Granite Act, which is written by Preston Byrne, who's the guy who is defending 4chan. That will basically completely annul any foreign attempts at censorship. So I hope that comes down. But Randy Fine is basically saying we need to get the Europeans to report on their anti-citrucism. I suspect shenanigans.
This bill directs the State Department to address that growing threat of anti-Semitism, to make clear to our European allies that the conduct that they have allowed to take place within their countries is simply unacceptable. After this assessment, the Assistant Secretary for European and Eurasian Affairs will engage with those countries that are identified as countries of apparent concern and ask for their cooperation in countering this rising anti-Semitism, and it will require those individuals to provide a briefing to both our committee and our Senate counterpart to make sure we are up to date on what these European countries are doing. But make no mistake, and let me say this loudly and clearly, what these European countries have allowed to take place in their countries is unacceptable. And we should be warned that where anti-Semitism rears its ugly head, societal collapse soon comes thereafter. That's what we've seen in 3,000 years of anti-Semitism.
It's always a threat. It's always a threat. Like every single time. You wouldn't want your society to collapse because you start criticizing us. Right. Okay, so that's the end of Moo Watch. And I know we're watching Crowder, Artie, right?
I'm going to ease us into it.
Wouldn't you rather watch two idiots talk about the dissident right? Okay,
Dude.
I feel like this would be a much, much better format.
They're outsourcing everything now.
Exactly, right? What do Crowder and Fuentes know about American politics anyway, right? These guys work really, really, really cheap, right? We could bring a bunch of them in on H-1Bs and it'd be great.
Especially in the past 2 years, the meat and bones of this entire alt-right, dissident right, neo-reaction movement is kind of revealing its face to us in a lot of ways.
You've got the completely normie MAGA types.
Yeah.
Then you've got the slightly rebellious Tucker, Nick Fuentes. These guys are a little more dissident.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've got this highly corporatist class that are these new reactionary types.
Yeah.
And I just don't think people have the kind of visibility about them that they should. People talk about the
surface level shit.
The surface level normie MAGA Ben Shapiro type versus Nick
Fuentes, Tucker Carlson,
Candace
Owen,
this type of stuff.
Owen.
They're talking about that division, but it's like, okay.
Pause it. Konstantin Kissin looks like he's supposed to have this accent saying the exact same thing. He looks like he's supposed to sound like this. They're saying verbatim the script, the transcript. All they're doing is reading a James Lindsay transcript or a Konstantin Kissin transcript right now. That's all they're doing with no difference.
The question is, which part will the dissident right redeem? And how many Google gift cards will it take to get them into power?
The two most populous divisions, yes.
Equal and
but
opposite?
2 of 3, and the third is the most consequential.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, it is also the most influential for a myriad of reasons we'll get into.
For a myriad of reasons?
He really had to fucking muscle that one out, dude. For a myriad of reasons.
Later. Yeah, and that's the third one. What do you think? Continue?
Yeah, the third one.
The sect of Vance.
The sect of Vance.
It's these new reactionaries that have been lurking in the shadows.
Yeah.
That have an inextricable link and origin with the deep security state.
I mean, they're probably making a good point. It's just the accent. It totally destroys me, mate. I can't take it fucking seriously. Oh, look at the super chat. $10 from King Solo Wings. Hang on, wait, let me get.
Oh shit! I just found where Adam and Sitch mentioned us. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh really? Oh
Yeah.
mate, do you want to throw it up?
I'm gonna have to after I give this boy a round of applause, baby. Goddamn, baby.
Goyo, goy, my hard fellas. Have a blessed weekend. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.
Solo
Very
Wings.
much appreciated.
You too. I hope you enjoy the grooving cat girl. And wait, what else have we got? We got $2 from Theodicy Ninja. How you doing, mate?
How you
Are they
doing?
using H1Bs for podcast bros now? Yeah, probably. Right. I mean, they're for everything else. So, So have you got the clip then? Are we gonna see the clip of our incipient fame, bros?
So I have not pre-watched this.
Okay.
We're just gonna go in raw.
Oh, that's how I like it.
Excellent. That is how I am very partial to giving it.
Okay. Wait. Fucking around with the same.
I
time.
do. Let me do.
Let me do it. Yeah. All right.
That's pretty funny.
Is Artie for Adam and Fist is for Sitch?
Yes, Adam and Sitch.
That's interesting.
Right. Talk about like the most niche audience you could find, you could get. Like, listen, we have to pull the white nationalist from Sitch and Adam.
Wait, God Mode Enabled has fucking... He's super chatted us. What the fuck? Is a Artie and Fist is a YouTube show based on your show, and it is run by two avowed white nationalists. Now, fellas, that still call themselves liberals and watch you guys. That's incredible. He's chatted in our chat. I think he's trying to stir some shit, which I don't mind. That's funny.
Are you an avowed white nationalist, Artie? I mean, like, are you?
No, I fucking, and this is what's great, dude. I have so many clips of me saying I'm a civic nationalist, right? Do you have any idea how long game I'm fucking going for? Okay, how early I'm planting these seeds, where I can have a compilation of myself calling myself a civic nationalist, arguing with my audience that I'm a civic nationalist.
I mean, for the record, guys, I'm not a white nationalist. I just think that you need a sort of mostly ethnically and religiously homogenous society for any kind of modern Anglo governance to work.
And then
make
Sitch,
of that what you will.
And then Sitch would dig deep into his TDS and go, "So you're an apologist? So you kind of one? Maybe I don't know. Depends on what mood he's in.
I mean,
but let's keep going. Hold on.
So we're gonna do our own spin-off show.
I mean, I think we do have some white nationalists in our audience, which
There's like 3.
Get your numbers up, pussies. Okay?
There's a rookie number.
You're feeding me. All you're doing is feeding me. Try to hang on to them. They're great people. That's the thing. How not shitty is our chat, by the way? It's the nicest fucking people. And then this is the conclusion that I came to, where I'm like, I keep hearing that Nazis are scary. I talk to people that call themselves Nazis. They're not scary. Like, these people are never scary. They're never like these insane people. Like, they never want to cut off the breasts and penises of children. They never want to flood the border with shitloads of fucking immigrants. They actually just seem to, it seems like they're the center. The people that are being called Nazis.
We are actually a very inclusive community. We don't care what color you are as long as you're racist, right? You might say that, in fact, we are the most diverse community that there is, right? You know, we take all types, all colors.
I just want you to... Well, I really want you to appreciate my autism that I was able to find this during the show. Let's keep going.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty...
There's like 3 of them. Yeah. Maybe it's just...
I mean, maybe 3 that are in the chat.
Right.
See? That's your issue, bud.
Look. If they've been here this long, we're winning them over.
There you go.
I'm calling that a win, right?
And Daryl Davis them.
Yeah, come on.
Daryl Davis them. Oh, this is why.
Yeah, and also, yeah,
this
control.
This is... Keep saying that, Sitch. Dude, keep saying that. Please. Keep on going, buddy.
I've never watched these guys, though.
I have. I've been watching like left-leaning content for the past... I watched Destiny for 8 fucking years, dude. This is why I'm so confident in all of my fucking positions about how these people are and my gripes that I have with them. The discernment I have developed is from being amongst every single type of person on the left.
Oh, you know, he misspelled the show name.
That's how I had to find it. I knew
Right.
I'm changing.
Obviously, there's a big impact on it, too. Soldos from $2 says Trump said he didn't know, and that...
Okay, well, I'll have to investigate that later. Anyways, thank you very much for that.
Yep, thank you very much for that. We've got some more super chats as well.
Excellent, mate. Hold on.
Another $10 from last
Let's
member.
get fancy.
We gotta
get our tapping shoes on. Yay! Thank you.
Man, I just can't take these 2 DoorDash delivery guys to get off the couch and deliver my Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm hungry. Yeah, like, where are my nachos? Like, my God, right? Is that why my nachos are late?
Yeah, and why is it that there's in my app, on my Uber Eats app, there's a delivery fee and there's a podcast fee in there for some reason? What the fuck is that? Who's paying for that?
What the fuck is that, right? I mean, do you still have to tip them if they've got a podcast fee?
Yeah,
right?
you're always, no matter how many fees they charge you, you're always expected to tip fucking $10 on top of everything.
Aramaic Discourse for $5.
Sir,
do not redeem your faith in Christ. Sir, stop. Why are you redeeming? Thanks very much, mate. And Molokai for 20. I think that's South. No, that's like 20 Swedish krona, I think.
Yeah.
20 Swedish money. Thank you for. I can't wait. I can't tell whether that's a lot of money or not. So have a grooving cat girl. Thank you very, very much, Molokai. Fellas, I'm a hard R now. Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you very, very much,
Well,
Molokai. I
there's
appreciate
a
that, mate.
bunch of content on there for you, and there might be something a little extra on Sunday. All right, time to blast through. So, Elon Musk. If current trends continue, whites with a capital W will go from being a small minority of the world's population to virtually extinct. Now, some of us would go, oh, he's on his white nationalist arc, right? That's white nationalist rhetoric. I mean, this is the difference.
Sounds a bit racist to me, Artie. Look. Wouldn't it be better for like everyone to go extinct rather than to be racist? I mean, I just.
You know what? Keep that same voice and read the I Like Tesla's account.
They did a pretty good job making us Jays almost extinct. And as the saying goes, it always starts with the Jays, but it doesn't stop there.
So
Dude,
how the fuck is that related
right?
to the white minority population?
Did you see any of the shit that was coming out of the UK this week? A bunch of like trial transcripts from like the rape gangs things.
Oh yeah.
It is literally a fucking war crime. Like I have never read like such just sheer barbarity. I do not want to hear about until these people get fucking punished. I don't want to hear about fucking World War II ever
There's
again.
not going to be any memorials for any of these victims.
I'm like, oh my god, like they came for the Jays first. Well, in the UK, they came for the white children first. Thank you.
And it's happening now.
Shove it up your ass.
And it's happening fucking now. So anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah. Stop making us so sad. We're trying to talk about white genocide over here. Let's do something a little more cheerful, okay? So Elon Musk says Jews are white, if not peak white, record scratch. You're probably wondering how we got here, okay? What the fuck? This is why you need to clarify if the person is being a classical liberal when they're saying these things, or if they're being a right-winger saying these things. Because
you wake up. Woke.
Now, not a problem. So, while there's many ways, he gets community noted on that pretty fucking hard, okay? And then he gets anally ratioed, okay? Elon Musk, 8.4 thousand likes and 8,000 comments, compared to 29,000 likes and only 256 comments.
Oh, that's got a sting.
So the
Musk
Moose
has an ointment company that he can use to soothe that burning, mate.
The Moose don't see themselves that way. They are the chosen ones above all races, which is not an opinion. That isn't even a contentious thing to say, okay?
Yeah. Have you got that clip from like Shapiro where he's like literally saying exactly that?
Oh yeah, that's coming up next.
Okay, it's coming up. Right.
Yeah, not a problem. And so then what does Elon Musk say, Fist?
Skin tone is obvious to anyone who isn't blind. Overwhelmingly, the vast majority of Moorish groups look white. That's just a fact. What about the Mizrahi? Right? Like, what about the what's the other Jayish group? Why is my brain there's tons of brown Jays. Oh, Musk being a bit,
Arab Jays. Essentially.
No, there's the Mizrahi and I think some of the Druze.
The Mizrahi is that Nima guy that I've started to pick up on. That we covered last week, where he talked to Nick Fuentes and called him a pedo the entire time and thought he won the debate somehow and looked good. That guy's a Mizrahi.
Yeah. As for whether there is an actual underlying genetic differences, which ACTG sequences are the Moorish ones and why, does anyone actually know? Well, actually, people have been looking into this. I'm going to be kind of like looking into this a bit on my next Fistery podcast.
Ooh, look at that plug. He's such a professional. I love it.
But it's just because I am, right? Because I'm going to be like talking about Khazaria, and some people are saying that the Ashkenaz came from sort of southern Ukraine, and other people are like, no, they didn't. And they've been doing a ton of genetic research to prove or disprove this thing. That's all I'm
And when is that stream?
Monday at 8 p.m. London times. That'll
3
be like
p.m. 3 p.m.
American.
Eastern. Put it in your calendars, fellas.
Yep. Mentally, people can define themselves however they want, okay? But that doesn't change how the rest of the world views them.
Oh, how true that is. And of course, I like Tesla's goes, not true. This is classic anti-Semitism. All right. That's all we need.
That anti-citrus.
Done. Done with you. So we're starting to as a national conversation, we're starting to, this is perfect after the Adam and Sitch thing that we just fucking watched, because they're not going to talk about this. And,
no, of course not.
And they're going to sweep it under the rug, which is their own prerogative. But they're going to just we don't want to really talk about white people being treated. We'll talk about white people being treated unfairly in the communist sense and infiltration of academia, but we don't want to go too far with that. Okay, we want to be classical liberals and make sure nothing actually happens. So,
yeah, I mean they probably don't care about all the white kids in the UK who are oh my god, I can't even talk about it. It's so awful.
Right? Oh
my god, it's like beyond the awful event horizon. It's like when some things are just so awful, like people don't even want to talk about them, and so they wind up sort of being shielded. I hate it.
So I also called Mark Levin a fat old pussy, and Nick Fuentes did in fact like that. So the only thing Nick Fuentes may know about me is I called Mark Levin a fat old pussy, which is a good introduction, I would say.
Mate, that's that's a very big slander against pussies. Look, there are a lot of malformed pussies out there, but to call them a Mark Levin, come on, mate, that's a bit much.
So, and then we got Nikki J. Fuentes coming in with the receipts, baby. Now, just think as to what the precursor to all these groups may have been that can identify sometimes as this sometimes, and sometimes as that sometimes. Queer, sometimes gender fluid. Where do we think that came from? I want you to understand the long game. This is how I'm going to answer whenever someone asks me if I'm a liberal or a civic nationalist, okay? I'm learning right now. Well, it depends on who's grouping me.
This is sort of a classic dodge, right? What she's asking is
what are you? What are you?
What are you? And Ben's like, oh, it's very, very complicated. Some people say that I'm this, and some people say it's some people think I'm a man, and some people think I'm a woman, but actually I'm non-binary, toaster sexual, or whatever.
So we have Elon Musk knocking on the door of whiteness. Okay, we have Matt Walsh a couple of times now. That Ukrainian woman that got stabbed, he was talking about that for a straight month, okay? He's been really platforming these typically anti-white crimes, anti-white sentiments, showing how that woman said the N-word and she raised $500,000 or $1 million. And how he's I don't care. He's right there. He's knocking on the door, but we're just not having the conversation, okay? So with all of the conversations we've seen with Nick Fuentes, have we seen a 5 minutes of talking about the white race anywhere? It's starting to get fucking weird. But we'll take a short detour before getting into the Steven Crowder conversation, which I'm going to put up a poll toward the end to see who people think won that. Me and Fist are kind of split on it. I lean more toward Crowder. He leans more to... This is why we can't debate. We're too reasonable. I'm I lean more toward Crowder.
Okay, to be fair, I did not watch the last hour, right? The bit that convinced me was when Nick was basically talking about what he would do with the economy. And he was saying he'd start this huge public works program, the New Deal, and and onshore a bunch of industry. And I was like, well, that's actually a very sensible policy platform. And Crowder was just so we got a couple of more super chats as well. Hang on before you go into this clip.
I'm in my zone right now. I didn't even see it.
Phoenician for $2. Shut up, Artie. I'm big and scary.
You sound very scary. I'm very scared.
We're very scared. And Double Mumble for $5.
Thank you, mate.
Guys, you have white nationalist copycats. Please get rid of them.
Well, but they made my point in this very next sentence where they're we only have 3. Why don't you? Here is the argument I have.
Well, then we are not overlapping their market. By did they invent the two streamers talking show? I feel that format sort of pre-existed there. I don't know. I've never really watched them. I probably shouldn't comment, but
Well, no, because with the way that we conduct this is liberal-ish. For right-wing content, the way that we conduct it is liberal-ish. We don't really beat you over the head with like religion and nationalism, right? We're very just like chill, evenly keeled, but we're not afraid to talk about right-wing issues. Is how I would explain that.
Yeah.
So to me, that's kind of like the market that was missing, because anytime something white comes up, like we never get like a tight asshole over a topic, right? And I feel like with them, they're like, oh, well, I'm not touching that one. It's like, well, that's the market that I'm trying to explore, because you can talk about these things and not, I don't know, be a coward. It's 2025, fellas. Let's fucking have these conversations, which is why I'm trying to talk about the white race. But anyway.
Yep.
So
we are an underserved market.
Yes.
Absolutely. Right.
And so
if you believe in the free market, then where there is
liberal,
demand, there will be supply, and we are supplying that booty.
I am gonna out-liberal these liberals till the day I die. But Nick Fuentes kind of eats his balls on the Muslim problem, and I kind of want to address that, since Fist is living in the worst place to be surrounded by Muslims.
I continue to believe this is really not a major problem for the United States, just in terms of pure... Well, in terms of the Muslims, I continue to believe this is really not a major problem for the United States, just in terms of pure numbers. Muslims are about 1% of the United States and concentrated in a few enclaves, like in Minneapolis and in Dearborn. And of course, there's a lot of them in New York, and there's even some in Chicago. And Texas, there's a big story about that Grand Mosque they're trying to build. And of course, I don't like that. But even in the context of the demographic problem, the biggest immigrant groups into the United States in the past 30 years, it's Mexicans, Indians, Chinese, Northern Triangle, Filipino, like those are the major groups. And so if you're talking about America changing demographically or culturally, it's a Latin American and an Asian problem. It's a Chinese and an Indian problem.
Now, you can be America first, you can be pro-white, and you can acknowledge the threat that Muslims are to the West. All this does is really like preload the opinions of the kosher right that they like Muslims and they working for Qatar and shit like that. Is all it really does. It doesn't speak to his base at all. Rhetorically, I don't quite understand the function of this.
The Filipino question that is currently gripping the United States and the rest of Europe. It's like in the UK, right? So the government was desperate for an immigration win because they're basically fucked, and they come out and they're like, "Oh, we've just accomplished a returns agreement with Vietnam," and everyone's like, "Vietnam, right? Like no one cares about the Vietnamese like coming over here and opening up restaurants and massage parlors and shit, right? Like no one's like, oh yes." The Vietnamese, right, like trying to take over the UK. No one gives a shit, right? The Muslims, because of Islamism, political Islam, effectively, are very, very politically active. So, what happens? They might only be like 1%, but what will happen is that they'll take over entire areas. And then once they've done that, they'll leverage that. And before you freaking know it, they'll have taken over a state, and then it's off to the races, mate. So
what communism, Moodyism, and Islam have in common is that they are consequentialist ideologies that don't have any morals or principles when it comes to obtaining power. Within their own ideology, you are allowed to lie to the outgroup. That's where Christianity is different.
That's actually called taqiyya.
Oh.
And when I first heard that, I thought that maybe that was like a Mexican thing, like a small taco, like a mini taco, like a taqiyya. But it's not actually. It's taqiyya. Yeah, you can lie to the unbelievers. In fact, one of the underappreciated things about Islam generally, and look, Islam is a broad religion. There are like a lot of different strains, right?
As always, there's 1.5 billion from 2 billion,
The strain that we mostly have in the UK is called Deobandi, and it's really, really extreme to the point where these like jokers, they'll go back to countries like Saudi and Qatar, and they'll be wandering around and be like, bro, why's everybody like eating during Ramadan? Like, aren't you Muslim? And they'll just be like, get the fuck away from me, you hick. Like, what the fuck's going on, right? Because those Muslim countries, they crack down on all these extremists and either killed or exiled them all, right? So because
they know where it leads.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So the extreme versions that you have in the UK, basically you can just do whatever you want to the unbelievers, right? Like, Islam
Infidels.
is very, very partial like that, right? Like it's not. I mean, it's universalist in the sense that anyone can join, but if you don't join, then it's not a sin to attack or murder.
Well, you'll see
the
whites
kafar.
joining. You'll see whites joining for protection, like it's a gang.
Well, yeah. And for some weird reason, most of the white Muslims are gingers, right? Like I have no idea why that is. I wonder if it's because Muhammad was supposedly like a ginger, and so they really want to like harvest the gingers,
Yeah,
right?
we
Like
know
the
Muhammad.
ginger harvest.
We know Muhammad, old firebush.
Yeah. Well, he was.
Okay.
So, anyway, go on.
In Europe, that is where they have a Muslim problem. That is where they have Pakistanis and Middle Easterners and Africans pouring in by the millions, and they represent most of the non-white population in those places. And so there, I think that's totally true, and it's a real problem. Over here in the United States, I think that is basically a deflection. I think that any time that somebody talks about our Jewish elite, because we do have Jewish oligarchs like Larry Ellison and Mary Matelson and others.
They're white.
Every time somebody talks about that, we get someone like Laura Loomer screaming about the Muslim Brotherhood. And Mark...
Now, this is true. They use it as a deflection, but it is a problem. That's why they like to invite this problem into Western countries, because it's easy for them to unite with the whites to go against the Muslims, because Muslims hate the Moos, and whites generally, the Muslims don't assimilate in Western areas. It's the perfect people to invite in to let the Moos do their bidding. But I don't know why we have to ignore the Muslims, because they have the highest birth rate of any other religion. Wait a minute.
Historically, right, the Moos and the Muslims have actually gotten along quite well, right? Like much better than the Moos and the Christians, because of the whole, death of Jesus thing, right? Where the Moos don't have that. If it hadn't been for the Palestinian war, it'd probably be like fine. I don't know.
Well, so real quick, this is the mayor of Minneapolis, I believe. Something like that.
Yeah, isn't he the mayor of Minneapolis?
Yeah.
That's not what we are about.
It's going to be a little bit low, but listen.
That's not American.
You can't even hear that, right?
That's not what we are about. And we're going to do right by every single person in our cities. And so, to our Somali community, Daman Shabka, Somalied Kunul,
If you couldn't hear it, he starts off by saying, that's not American, and then ends it by speaking Somalian, okay?
Yeah.
And that's a white guy, okay? That's not when they start looking like fucking Sadiq Khan and Zorhan Mamdani in fucking Power, Fuentes, okay?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Okay,
I just, yeah.
Super chat.
Oh, hold on. Dancing shoes. Get your shoes out. Get your shinies out.
Get my dancing shoes out. The new GM, thank you very much. $10. I watched about half of the Corrado Fuentes thing and thought Fuentes did not come off well at all. Kind of used car salesman vibes. Ironically, the same vibe I get from Ted Cruz. Well, I think Artie does agree with you. So
I do, of course.
Polarizing interview, bros.
Yes. Actually, yeah, let's just get into it. Okay. That's you. You got the interview, and I got the timestamps.
Right. Okay. I gotta
just
go and get some more.
Get into
coffee.
it, Mike.
Right. So where are we starting at?
52:30, and I can set this up while you're walking away.
Okay. I'll just be like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
52:30.
And so,
okay, let's go.
So this is just after. So this is when they're really starting to actually debate. We don't really see Nick debating anyone interviewing him, and this is a friendly debate. These are the types of mud sports debates that I want to have with a little more spice in them, build a rapport and actually kind of go at each other, but it's in good fun. But they're actually debating back and forth. And so Steven Crowder, I think, is an excellent interviewer for such a situation, because he's got the Matt Walsh vibe of wanting to maintain peace in a coalition. You are a man of influence that's on the right. We don't have to agree on everything. You just need to say, right now, give me some good lines. Give me some... Because, like, Steven Crowder's audience is huge. It's kind of boomery. And so, Steven Crowder is going to be asking for some necessary clarification for a mass audience. So, the pushback he's giving him is appropriate and necessary politically in order for the for Nick Fuentes to kind of make his next move politically.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so I thought that was a good summary. I mean,
and so
Crowder,
I'm gonna add a
he's the
poll
boomer
toward the I'm gonna add a poll toward the end after everyone's heard what's going on.
Okay, let's go.
52:30. Did you put it up on the screen? You fat fuck.
Oh. I'm not retarded. No. I absolutely I totally meant to do that.
Just so everyone knows, I use fat and retarded interchangeably. Okay, neither of us are really fat. And so now what you're doing is putting it up on the screen, right?
What the hell's going on?
I'm not touching anything. I don't want us to double click it. There we go.
Okay, right. Sorry about that, bros, right? Can we just stop with the retardation?
We? What the fuck?
Well, you know, it's the royal we, right? You know, right?
Oh, you monarchs and your British family, the royal we.
We are retarded. Okay.
It's for 3 days of Hitler, Stalin, Pol Pot, Mao. Funniest one was Papa Doc in Haiti because he sucked Pinochet, who wasn't all wrong. And we were very clear about this. And I think Mao ended up winning. Might have been Pol Pot, though the number wasn't as high, but he was just really dumb and really brutal, which combination. How could you get, if we're talking about now, to Stalin's industrial
results? Pause it.
Without Stalin's method.
He had just talked about Stalin. He allowed him, he showed a clip to explain his admiration for Stalin, not for Stalin's ideas necessarily, more so for his grit as a politician and gaining power. And so now he's going to ask him kind of more involved questions. It's not just a softball interview. He's going to be asking, so like, what are how does that influence what you want to politically happen in the country? That's where we're starting.
I think this was the bit that I saw that I really liked from Fuentes, if I recall.
First off, have you said Catholic theocracy? Is that, am I misquoting?
I might have said it, but I don't believe in a Catholic theocracy. I think that the government should be Christian, but not a theocracy.
Okay. Not a dictatorship either?
We might need a very powerful executive for a short amount of time. I think that's maybe unavoidable.
Okay.
But not an ideological totalitarian state, no.
So how do you get to that in the industrialization that you talk about with Stalin? How do you get it? How do you get there?
I think that you need tariffs. I think you need subsidies. I think you need a massive public works program, something like the New Deal. And I know you're probably not a fan of that because I know you're a huge free market guy, but I think that one of the things the free market doesn't do well is it doesn't allocate resources efficiently on like a long-term timeline. You know, in a long-term timeline, America needs to have a ton of industry to be able to support its Navy, to be able to protect supply chains and trade routes. And the free market has not been able to accomplish that. So I think that the government needs to intervene in this case and basically say, like, we're not going to import these manufactured goods from China. We have to make them ourselves. We need to subsidize them. And maybe we bring people on, onto the dole of the state in a public works program to accomplish some of these things. So I believe in an intervention from the state to do that.
Well, okay. So
now, look, this is a really, really good comment from Nick, in my opinion, right? This is sort of like the New Deal. This is how sort of large infrastructure programs get built, right? Like all the highways across America that were built during the New Deal.
No, we have to wait and pray that the market does it.
Yeah, but as Nick correctly says, right? The market sort of incentivizes for short-term gain for company owners. It doesn't incentivize for large infrastructure projects that benefit the entire country.
Right.
And not only would it decrease unemployment, it's good you can do national renewal. People remember that bridge in what state is it? The one that got hit by a ship and collapsed, and it's not going to be rebuilt for 5 years. And the other thing about large public works programs is that you can use economies of scale and all this kind of other stuff. It's been a very successful tactic, and the
Sure.
US needs infrastructure renewal.
But there's one issue: we don't fucking trust our government. That is
Well,
the
yeah,
issue.
there is that.
And so,
Yep.
so Fuentes is coming. They're coming from two different epistemologies. Fuentes is coming from like what really needs to happen. Like it's the only way it's going to happen. And then Crowder is like not thinking ideologically, politically minded necessarily. He's just like, yeah, but I don't trust the fucking government to do anything because of the conditions that we're in right now. And I actually can't imagine ever trusting my government enough to do that.
Yeah. Well, you'd need. I mean, this is the thing that Nick skips over, right? So Crowder asks him directly, right? Like, you know, Nick is like, we might need a very strong executive for a while, and Crowder's like, well, how do you get to that? Nick does not reply. You notice that, okay?
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that he is talking about like a coup of some kind, right? Like whether that's, you know, Groypers or Groyper adjacent people getting elected into government, or like some kind of seizure of power, because the people that are currently running the Uniparty are not going to do any of that. Oh, also, we got some super chats too.
Oh.
KTS for $5.
Thank you.
What's crazy is that Sarikar means raider in Arabic, and we were called that by outsiders. Someone said Saracen meant devoid of Sarah, Ishmaelite. Oh,
Interesting.
Thanks very much, mate.
Thank you.
And Darth Amalgamation, the mayor of Minneapolis, is Mooish. Yes, he is.
And so isn't the fucking president, the female president of Mexico. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah. Okay. So Nick is being very coy about the mechanism by which he proposes the seizure of power. But I'm sure he knows what he's talking about. He just doesn't want to give it away. And this is what the impression that I got is that I think one of the reasons why Nick likes Stalin is that Stalin and the Bolsheviks, generally speaking, they did understand power, right? Like you might not agree to the uses that they put it to. Goddamn, I don't, right? But in terms of the mechanisms of the gaining and wielding of power, they did. And this is one of the reasons, in my opinion, why the right has just been so flaccid for the last, I don't know how long.
Well, they've been infiltrated.
Most of the profound thinkers on the seizure and wielding of power have been left wing, at least the ones that have been popularized, the ones on the right,
ones that are allowed to speak. I just released this in the last video where 80 to 97% of historians at the top 40 schools in the country are Democrat. And so and this has been studied. It's been what we have never gotten a chance at viewing objective history. It's never been objective, not even fucking close. It has had a liberal bent to it the entire time. That's why we're now talking about the post-war consensus. And in order for you to have the most accurate telling of history, you have to listen to right-wingers discuss history. They do it stoically. Every time, and I know this, I've been on left liberals fucking for decades now. Whenever something inconvenient in history comes up, they attach emotion to it every fucking time. The right will just tell you, like the analysis of like Hitler or like Stalin. We're not used to hearing it bereft of emotion and just focusing on what happened and exploring all sides.
Yeah. Drents 27 for 5 Canadian loonies. Love your work, boys. Keep it up. Thank you very much.
Very much appreciated. Let's get to it. Let's get frisky.
By the way, tariffs, I understand, and especially when you look at the revenue they'll be generating, I don't think that's an infringement of the free markets. I think it's a correction of an unfair market, of a market where we've been fleeced. So I think we agree on that. Subsidies are massive public works. I mean, we have a debt. Is it 39 trillion? I haven't looked at the clock recently. So I certainly wouldn't say that we haven't been subsidized.
So pause it.
We absolutely have.
So you see how Crowder is going to revert right back to current circumstances. That they're speaking in two different timelines, right?
Yeah.
Now, Crowder is making good points, but it's never going to get done with Crowder's frame of mind.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
This is the disconnect in the conversation.
And this really, in my opinion, I think you've basically put your finger like right on the divide that is going on in the Republican Party, right? So the Crowder boomers, like they've got all these principles, but nothing's ever going to get done, right? They're just, my principles, my what if we do this? Like, no. And then you've got the gropers who are just like, look, we have got to actually do something, right? And then, you get all the kosher centers like, oh, again, it said work right. Yeah, because they want to do something. They want to obtain
in their lifetime, by the way. They understand that
power, right?
Most of these things are for the future after they're dead. They just want to see fucking a glimpse of it before they close their eyes forever. That something is possibly changing, right? That's where this like kind of action, this direness, this I don't care. We need to start. It's never going to happen. Now's never the time to talk about white people. It's never the time. Never been the time. Never going to be the time.
So Sam Francis, the guy who invented the term anarcho-tyranny and was cancelled by fucking Dinesh D'Souza, amazing writer, right? I'm never going to forgive Dinesh D'Souza for getting him cancelled, right? Because he was pro-white. This is back in like...
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, right?
Dinesh can get all the smoke nowadays, dude.
He wrote a book, which I haven't read, but the title is Beautiful Losers. And the basic premise is that the Republicans are like these beautiful losers, right? They've got like all the principles and all the liberal ideals, but they just keep losing to the left, because the left, they just understand the analysis of power, and that's why they keep winning.
That is poetic.
They pay us to look like we're working, and we look like we're working. Like they look like they're paying us, we look like we're working. We've done this here in the States. I mean, if you go back to FDR, and maybe you're a fan of FDR's approach, certainly Barack Obama, the biggest modern spending package, I was around for that, shovel-ready jobs, was awful. And same thing for Russia. I mean, if you throw enough bodies and human suffering at something, you can get something done. But even then, it was still significantly behind the world that was more free, the United States. So where have we not done it? Because I look at it and I go, well, we have been subsidizing almost everything. I agree with you on China. I agree with you on tariffs. I think that's a huge threat.
Pause it.
What would that look like?
Now, in the defense of Nick Fuentes, who gives a fuck what the debt is? We throw money away all the time. If we're going to go into debt, let's do it to fix the fucking country, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, at least if you repaired the highway system and repaired all the bridges and shit, right? Like that would bring actual economic benefit to the country.
And basic, affordable, subsidized healthcare. And so Crowder is unintentionally being a sort of controlled opposition in this conversation,
but
not on purpose.
With a massive public works program, you could build a shitload of hospitals, right? So like one of the problems that I see in Western governments a lot is that they change stuff up, like mass immigration. They're like, oh, let's bring in millions more people, but they don't actually upgrade the infrastructure that is meant to cope with those people, right? Like the UK's in this situation. It's why like the National Health Service is like literally just dying, because it was made for X million people, and there are now 2X million people all like trying to access the same stuff. So a huge public works program, you could build a ton more hospitals. You could just, you could build stuff for like the general population, and then maybe, right, like you could actually do the whole free healthcare thing. I don't know.
I don't think we've been subsidizing industry. I'm not saying just like subsidies across the board. I mean, we need to actually subsidize and prioritize the industries that we need in the country. So like, for example, the CHIPS Act, I think that was a great thing. I don't think it was enough, and I don't think it was comprehensive, but I want more things like that. Like there's no reason why, they're doing it in Arizona. They're bringing TSMC over to Arizona. They're building a chip fabrication facility. We need that. And I think the government should give tax breaks or just straight up give subsidies to the companies that are going to do that. And I think that we need aggressive trade negotiations. I guess maybe where we differ ideologically is that I want a very smart government. I liked what Doge did. I like the idea of bringing people from the private sector into the government. And even Trump said that.
Nick, we all want a smart government, right? Like, if there's one thing everybody wants, it's like actual smart people in government instead of like the crop of shitheads that we have at the moment.
Right, but also like with Crowder, and I also I don't share the imagination of Nick Fuentes, though I understand what he's saying. I'm more with Crowder because like, well, I don't think we can get a smart government. It's like, it's so foreign to me I've been raised around such an incompetent government that doesn't give a fuck about me.
I mean, look, okay, so this is the unspoken thing, right, that Nick is saying. And this, just to circle back to what I was saying at the start of the stream when I was beefing with Lindsay, okay? There are ways to do it. It's just that they are not liberal ways. And this is what I mean about trying to solve the problem within the confines of the system that gave you the problem, right? Like, you could just do things.
Decisionism, right?
Decisionism, right? Like, you could just be like, right, that's it. We're firing all of these people. We're going to like install, like, we're going to have a Groyper occupied government. I mean, honestly, right? Like if you got a ton of Groypers into government, I guarantee you it would work better than how it's working now. This is going to be one of the big problems with the Republican Party if they successfully purge the Groypers. All of their most dynamic, energetic young people, all the new blood, are part of that group, right? They're going to wind up with people like Brill and Hollyhand, and just the soy whites are going to be like the only people left, and no one's going to vote for that because it's not going to change anything. Oh, also, we got another super chat from King Solo Wings.
Put on your dancing shoes.
Dabbing Cafe. For $10, thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
I hope Nick changes his opinion about the Muslims. Hyper focused on the moves, and you won't notice the crap you're stepping in. They're both very good coys. Thanks, King Solo Wings.
Yeah, because like he's America first, but you're really not focusing on something that's a pretty massive threat to America that we can see in Europe how much of a threat that really is. It's a pretty huge blind spot to have, to be America first and to not just to kind of, it's not a problem. It's only going to be, it's never a problem that goes away unless you fucking acknowledge it.
I mean, the thing is, right, like in the UK, the rot is so bad now. You would have to replace the entire government, the security services, most of the police. Like it's just, it's becoming an impossible task. Like, you've got all of these like essential parts of society that have been completely subverted and corrupted. It's not that bad in quite a few parts of the US, but if it's not if something isn't attempted soon, then that's why the UK is a good sort of example of like what you can get to, the state that you can get to. Jetpool Kid for $5.
DPK.
Nick wants competent people, but the problem is that there are not many, and most of these people have the ulterior motives of expunging the undesirables. Yeah. Well, if you don't...
Well, but the conversation does need to be had. It just needs to be had in more detail.
If you don't want to get rid of the undesirable people in government who are fucking everything up, then you don't really want to fix any of the problems.
And realize that they have no problem getting fucking rid of you when it's convenient for them.
Yep.
It's reciprocal.
2016 to work on trade deals, to work on, for example, China steals all our intellectual property. They steal all of the developments that we have. We need people that know about technology, almost in a technocratic way, like true experts, guiding our trade policy, guiding, in some ways, our economic policy, setting a benchmark that it's like, we need like 10% of the economy or 15 or 20% of the economy to be productive in 5 or 10 years. We need to be making ports, ships, or we need to have countries in our orbit that can do it for us, like South Korea or Japan. But we just need people that are in charge that are, kind of aware of this problem. So I guess that's maybe the difference.
No, I don't think that's the difference. I can outline maybe the difference based on what you just said. I don't have a problem with tariffs. I know what you're talking about with the CHIPS Act. I agree. And I think a big problem is, absolutely, Chinese stealing intellectual property. That's why I think they're a huge threat. What I see, I mean, then you could point though to like American auto manufacturing, which has been abysmal. I mean, industries that have been heavily subsidized. I mean, if you look at insurance industries, pharmaceutical companies, if you look at energy companies, I mean, you remember
and
also
now
Solyndra, green energy companies.
Now this is inadvertently a false equivalency because Crowder is just talking about subsidies in general as opposed to what Nick is discussing, which is more than just a subsidy. It's an actual nationalization of something, and not just quote unquote the government, but a certain type of government that will do these things.
Yeah. And the thing is, right, for any of what Nick is saying to come true, right, you need to have like a movement behind him. I think this is why Nick is really into Stalin, because like, although the way Stalin did it was like bloody horrible, and you don't need to go that far, right? The idea of sort of having like a large movement for some kind of national revitalization and, you know, using the government to actually, you know, benefit the country. I think that's what he's like getting at.
We don't even believe it's possible because we're just so conditioned to it not being that way. Arden Party, thank you very much for being a mod. And speaking of refreshing, 290 watching and only 105 likes. Come on, people. I didn't come here to mod for soft cocks. Very good point. We're at just about 300, which is a very successful stream for us. So this is the meat of the stream right now.
The meatiest.
I'm thinking maybe with like 15 minutes left, 20 minutes left, I'm going to put up a poll to see Crowder or Nick Fuentes. So let's get some meat in the seats, fellas. Appreciate it.
5 Canadian loonies from Death Takes. No message.
Just dishing it out. Just dishing it out.
Deadpool Kid, GPK. For $5. The main problem is who's undesirable in whose eyes. Yeah, it always comes down to that, mate.
Yeah,
And,
well, you're always undesirable when you don't have power. It's a chance you take.
And 20 US Federal Reserve dollars from Frenchman. No message, mate. He's just giving us money. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Senor Frenchman. Thank you very much.
Hey, hold on. I got something for him.
We have proven that no defeat can destroy a people who refuse to surrender.
Very nice.
Nice.
Now
Thank you very much.
That's a translation from a certain historical figure. Continue.
Company that's been heavily subsidized and regulated tends to be less efficient and it tends to be more expensive. But we do need to protect certainly things that are, I would say that ships are a matter of national security. But my thing there is, you say you like Doge. Well, I don't know why you think I would differ. That was largely, axing things. You just mentioned stuff that really for the first time has been done under this administration. And where we differ is I go, is it perfect? No. Is it a step in the right direction?
Pause it real quick.
Biden compared to.
And so what's happening here is that Steven Crowder feels like Fuentes is just kind of ignoring all of the successes that we've had because Nick Fuentes is politically just light years ahead of Steven Crowder. I guess, you know what this is? It's almost like Steven Crowder is like the materialist atheist and Nick Fuentes is like the God, like spiritual thinker right now, right?
Yeah, and this is a big difference between the religious and the atheists. Like
they're both religious though, but politically he's an atheist. If that makes sense, we should start talking about it like that.
But the problem with materialism is it sort of denies the transcendent. This is why Christian societies tend to do stuff like build cathedrals and all these like long sort of term projects. Like if you take like the Duomo in somewhere in Italy, that was like was it in Rome? The Medici's like built that over like 400 years, and they had no idea how they were going to finish it when they started. And the only reason why this project was able to be completed was because they had a stable family, they had a long lineage, and they had like this sort of divine vision. So you can't just. This is the problem with materialism. You're just like, oh well, I guess I'm going to die, and there's nothing after. There's nothing transcendental about it. Is what I'm getting at.
It's limiting.
Yeah,
it's very limiting. It's really hard to. Human potential cannot achieve its full potential. Humans can't achieve their full potential with materialism because they will just accomplish what they think they're capable of accomplishing instead of actually, like you're saying, transcending and doing things that no human thought was possible.
Yeah. Cooking solo wings for $2. Where's my kitty? There you go. For you.
She's got requests. She's getting fans over here. Ooh.
Getting fans over here. Double Mumble for $5. I want to say rejecting liberalism saved me from blackpilling, knowing that without it we can actually remigrate all the non-European. But Nick blackpills that. The problem is, right, that Nick is fundamentally operating within the frame of democratic governance, right? For all the like whining and bitching about how he's like a woke right and stuff, Nick is trying to make a voting bloc within the democratic system. And to do that, he needs the votes of the non-whites. That's just the way it is. That's why you shouldn't have let them in the first place, but it's too late for that. So No.
Well, I mean, I've gotten like on my video about Nick Fuentes. I just got a huge. I haven't covered it, the comments on it, because it's wide-ranging people that support Nick that say he's a white nationalist. How'd you not know he's a white nationalist? Didn't you know he's a civic nationalist? He's not a white nationalist. He's not a civic nationalist. I get very mixed answers from people that support him.
Yeah. And another $20 from the Frenchman. My God. I think we're going to need a stunting Pepe for that.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Here's another $20. Merci beaucoup, les Frenchmen.
And now the Chad does what the Chad wants, and no one is stopping him because Chad does what Chad wants.
The Frenchman has achieved full Chaddis.
He has. And the Chad wants to give us money. And who are we to stop him?
I'm not the Chad. I can't do what I want. I gotta wait for him. The power's in his hands. He's grabbing the wheel over here. Let's get back into it.
Right.
Barack Obama. Yeah. And then I know that you've also talked about having to burn it all down. So where I differ is, you've said you're reactionary, or I've heard you use the term maybe accelerationist. Well, accelerate toward what? Because if that's what you want, and I agree with you, we're getting more of that than ever before. So how would you get there, and why would you burn down the progress that's being made?
Well, I'm not an accelerationist. I think that I think that's sort of misguided, because if we're, and I agree with you, accelerating towards what? That's the operative question. So that's why I'm not an accelerationist. I think that to make things worse is only basically to vote in favor of chaos and death and potentially civil war, low-level political violence. And I think you're rolling the dice with that. So I'm with you on that. As far as the Trump administration is concerned,
Can I pause you? And I don't want to interrupt, but like I said, I want to address kind of the points individually.
No, totally. Yeah.
Okay. And hopefully you think this is fair, because I really do want to be, and I know that I disagree with you on some fundamentals here, but you did say that Kamala Harris would be a better choice. And you did take billboards out against Donald Trump and told people not to vote in certain elections.
Kind of dicey.
And just maybe you didn't use the term.
Pause it real quick.
But you said at least then that would sort of ignite.
And so Crowder, very responsibly with his audience. He has a massive audience. There needs to be an answer, and he's going to give him a chance to answer. And it's like, well, if Trump wasn't elected and you were, not really supporting Trump during the election, and without Trump, we would have way more illegals in the country. So that's what he's going to be positioning his argument through that lens.
Right, but he was supporting Trump. Like the whole thing about, I think he goes on to explain this, is that there was a brief period where it looked like Trump and Kamala were neck and neck. And so he was trying to leverage himself as a power block to get concessions from the Trump administration. This is what every other ethnic power block and every other interest group does, by the way, right? This is one of the reasons why having a situation where you have two equally balanced power blocks, it winds up being the minority groups that make the difference, right? Like, so consider if you've got two groups that are both at 40%, okay, and then a bunch of like just sort of randos who are 10%, but you have one coordinated voting block that is 10%. Whichever side that 10% voting block goes for will push you over the line. This is why both parties like pander to the blacks, by the way, right? Like, because they are a unified voting block. So this is what I mean. Nick understands power. He understands how the democratic system works, and he is trying to make his own unified power block in the hope that it will arise a situation where the votes of the gropers might be the difference between winning and losing. And in that situation, all of a sudden, he has power and ability to demand concessions from the Republican or the Democrat Party.
Because it's a uniparty, it's all the same, right? So I view that as accelerationism, whereas I see where we agree, where we find progress, I would argue is better than 4 years of Kamala. And I would argue that we were at the precipice of we were looking at sending into the abyss 15 million on the low end, illegal aliens, and not to mention the legal immigration problem. Add another 10 million with Kamala Harris, we no longer have a country, where you and I would both agree. So that's where I don't understand your position.
Yeah, well, let's sit in this for a minute. So first of all, and I just want to clarify, I know you know this, but maybe your audience doesn't. I never told people to vote for Kamala. I didn't vote for Kamala. I never told people to vote for Kamala. I didn't endorse Kamala. My plan in and again, as long as we're in good faith, I'm going to explain to you my thought process on this last year. it looked at one point like this was going to be a very contentious election, like it would be very close. It turned out not to be, and eventually it became clear that it wouldn't be. But it seemed like maybe this election would come down to one state, like Michigan or Wisconsin or Pennsylvania, one of the 3 Rust Belt states. And my problem in 24 is that Trump was not promising an immigration moratorium. In fact, he was saying the opposite. He said that he would staple green cards to diplomas, which is a very famous policy. It's been around for decades, and Democrats and Republicans have said, we're going to give green cards to every foreign student. I said, that's a disaster. That's terrible. And then the other thing is there was a rumor that he had a quid pro quo arrangement with Miriam
Pause it real
Adelson
quick.
that he would allow Israel to...
It seems like Nick Fuentes is very done with being forced to support someone that gives a fucking policy that he's like, dude, I don't want to just keep saying yes to the right. There is that deviation there. And of course, Steven Crowder is going to be more in the camp of, well, we have no other choice, So it is, but this is a conducive conversation with those 2 different factions of the right, No,
well, this is what I mean, right?
You cut out. I can't hear you, mate.
Fuentes is an operator. Seriously? Am I still muted?
You're good.
Right. Sorry. Nick is an operator trying to make his own power block, right? And so he wants to demand things that will benefit his power block specifically. If he just says to the Republicans, I'll vote for you, whatever, no matter what, they have no incentive.
It's how it's always been.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He's basically trying to put himself in a position where he's like, well, maybe we'll vote for you. Maybe we won't. He says this all the time, right? Like, if you don't do this, we won't vote for you. This is how you play actual democratic politics. Hang on, a couple more super chats.
Oh,
$10 from
Get the
Waffle.
shoesies.
Thank you very much, mate.
If you're going to clip them.
Take my coins, freshly clipped. Thank you very much.
Usually freshly clipped is a good thing, but that technically devalues the currency you just gave us. so as always, all right? You're going to take money away while giving it. Very mooish, okay?
And the new GM for another $10. Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
But playing yourself into block only works as an honest spoiler when the other party does not have hands on the levers to rig the election and your side needs to outvote fake ballot. Well, okay, that's a really, really good point.
Right.
I think Nick is operating on the assumption that the Trump administration will follow through with their plans to introduce paper voting and generally clean up the voting system. If they don't, then the entire term will have been a complete failure, because if they don't clear that up by the end of this term, they are going to be absolutely screwed forevermore. So, yeah, that's a really good point. Okay, hang on. Let me start this again.
Next to West Bank and intervene in the war with Iran. And so those were kind of my 2 issues. As I said, if we elect Trump, we're going to get all these Chinese and Indians. They're going to get green cards, and we're going to get H-1Bs because that's what Silicon Valley wants. And we're going to get a war with Iran. And so I looked at it this way. I said, if the America Firsters rise up and sort of tell Trump, here's the ultimatum. You can come out and say you're against the H-1Bs and the F-1 and green cards, and you could say you're not going to bring us to war in Iran, and we'll vote for you. But if you don't, we can't vote for you. And that was kind of the idea. It was like a contract with the Trump team. Now, ultimately, Trump became basically, his advantage grew to be so big that he wasn't worried about losing in one of those states. And I felt that way. I said, we don't have leverage anymore because he's leading by so much. It's clear he's going to win. That's why we sort of abandoned it in the middle of it. But aside from, so that's where that came from.
Just to clarify, abandoned what?
Abandoned that project, the Groyper War II, because we were going to go to Michigan and we were.
How does Crowder not understand the concept of political leverage? Right? Like this is why I was like,
he's clarifying for his audience, because Nick is saying like, we did it. And he's like, he wants him to say what he was clarifying, exactly what he was doing for his audience.
I mean, I guess
that's how I interpreted that.
I guess, but this is like democracy 101. This is literally the thing that every single other interest group, apart from whites, have been doing like forever.
I'm sorry. What did you say? Apart from whites, that is why we need to have this conversation nationally to get us all on the same page, dude. No one's talking to him about white shit. It's fucking crazy.
Yep.
And also, real quick, it's such a shame too that Eric Arval. I can't wait to talk to him because I don't know what he is religiously. I guess he might be a pagan. He might be a mystic. He's a Platonist. I know that, Neoplatonist.
Yeah.
But what he has a solution for is that Christianity does not have a specific prescription for the white race, okay? Now, he is building upon something that predates Christianity, and he has a spiritual justification in his belief system. He has a metaphysical, he has a scientific, so he has a lot of different fields of knowledge backing specifically the white race that I'm very interested in talking about. That's kind of what's missing from a lot of this is what is the white race grounded in rhetorically, if that makes sense.
Yep. 10 euros from Slackademic Slagent. Thank you very much, mate. Takes on Nick are so divided because he purposefully de-emphasizes policy to base his platform on personal loyalty. You can do that, but you got to be very good at diplomacy and maintain high social capital. I think his policy platform is evolving, or possibly it's too based for general consumption at the moment. One of the sort of things is that as stuff gets worse, people begin to consider policies that would be beyond, overturn.
We're partially there.
Yeah,
we're partially there.
Yeah, we're partially there. On the other hand, he did seem like at least he had some policy prescription. Like, what policy prescriptions has Crowder put out? Basically none.
Hold on. We haven't listened to too much of it. I guess we could let it play a little more.
All right.
Literally going to knock on doors and hand out leaflets and stuff. And we said, you know what, let's just not anymore because he's going to win anyway. So we bought one billboard.
You were going to knock on the doors and tell people to vote for Trump, the Groypers in Michigan?
Yeah, no, to sign on to something like a pledge that would say, we will not vote for Trump unless. That was kind of the idea. And we sort of spun that up, but we abandoned it when it became clear that he would win.
Okay. And I understand that, by the way. I understand the idea of holding the representatives accountable. I mean, that's why we have primaries. But hopefully that's part of your strategy, because a lot of people just don't run in primaries, and that's a viable option. But I do remember what caught me off guard, you saying that Kamala Harris was a better choice. And I remember part of what you said was because Trump, if he's elected, legitimizes the system. And that would be worse. You didn't want Trump to be elected because it would legitimize the system. Explain what you meant by that, because that sounds to me like you want to delegitimize and almost revolution instead of Trump.
Well, and here's the thing. I think that Trump is obviously the better president if you're just taking like all the nominal figures, like fewer illegal immigrants, he secured the border, the economy's going to be better, the government's going to be more efficient. So, I mean, we're in agreement on that. Here's the problem. And I try to make people think about it in these terms. And I don't want this to sound like a cop-out, but I'm trying to get people to think, which is that Trump gets elected, and let's think about what happens on day number 2. Whereas in 2020, everybody said the election is rigged. Like 86% of Republicans said, the election was BS. Now
it was close to half of Democrats too, I think.
Yeah, it was substantial. It was across the board. Now nobody believes that. And whereas at one time people believed the system really needs to be overthrown. We really need radical change. Now they're saying, Trump won. I feel relieved. Now we're okay. And look at the things that Trump has done. And we're going to get in. I can tell we're going to get into some of these things. The Epstein files, bombing Iran. And I'm not gish galloping. I'm just giving a little list of things I don't like. The H-1B visas, the 600,000 Chinese students. Yeah. All these things happen. And because they're happening under Trump, he is legitimizing them. And he's legitimizing the moneyed interests that are responsible for them. And I do think that deflates a lot of the fervor for change that existed before. And I just think sometimes, is that necessarily better in the long term? I don't disagree that Trump is, there's a very big pragmatic benefit, but in the long term, I worry about that.
Yeah, I definitely.
Now, this is basically like what I was just sort of saying is that.
I know, it really is.
Right? Like things get better. People go back to sleep, sleep now and don't think about fundamental changes, right? And the left, of course, they love to use this exact tactic. You know what I mean? Like make shit worse, make shit worse, make shit worse. And then like come up to people and be like, hey, have you considered doing a communism? But I don't think like niggas, talking about like anything that radical. It just, I mean, I don't know, man. I thought his whole thing of trying to get the left and the right together was actually like pretty smart. You get the left.
I thought it was. Well, I thought it was rhetorically strong because which one is more likely to happen? The right leaning a little more toward government services and a little less on capitalism, or the left not hating white people? Which one's closer? Like, obviously the right is closer to making a fucking concession there. So, I mean, that's why I thought it was rhetorically strong to seem, like, reasonable to go, don't these two things seem reasonable? Now, who do you think would actually give in for it? The left would never. They dug their heels too deep on it. The right can easily be compelled if it's for the people. They can be compelled to do these things.
I think it's better in the long term. And I agree with you completely on 600,000 Chinese students. I don't know if you saw, we did an entire hour on that. H-1Bs. I was throttled as a result from, well, I can't say Elon Musk directly, but I believe I perhaps called him a retard, whatever it was. I insulted him quite publicly. And, you know, for my troubles, made $27 in the course of a month on X. Ashley Sinclair made like 26 grand in 2 weeks. Who knew, right? That's kind of odd. Yeah, I agree with you on H-1Bs. I will tell you, worse than 600,000 Chinese students would be another 15 to 20 million illegals and changing the census rule, which is what we were looking at, where that redistricts the entire map. And there's no chance to any type of conservative, Republican, nationalist, populist being elected again. And I do think that there was a lot of progress made. I would go through
Crowder
a lot of
does
things,
make a good point there, where you're thinking about 600 students when we're talking about, you know, millions of military-aged men crossing the border.
Yeah. It's like the difference between, like, you know, the UK and the US. As bad as shit is, you know, like, at least people are leaving, you know.
Right.
99% is not marginal to me as far as reduction. I think that's pretty significant. But I'd like to go to, I understand where you're coming from. I understand that perspective, but I also don't understand what the threshold is as far as, okay, burn it all down, or we want to delegitimize the system. Because I know we lived through that. Like you just said, Republicans thought it was an illegitimate election. I did as well. Not a whole bunch of folks at the Daily Wire back then. So I think we were on the same page. And I also, obviously, when we had the lockdowns, all of that, we then lived through 4 years of Biden, right? So it was already seen as not legitimate. We saw the results. I think the results of not electing another Biden is better. But I would like to roll a clip, because I think it's in this vein, and might help set it up. It was where you discussed, Epstein, too. That's one thing. Of course, I absolutely agree. I don't know if you know, I recreated the Epstein cell down to the millimeter and tried to hang myself with a force meter.
I saw that, yeah.
It's possible, not likely. So I thought it was a huge mistake. I think Pam Bondi's an idiot. And I mean actually like an idiot. Like she potentially could be a mongoloid, using the term hate speech.
Pause it real
She's
quick.
A moron. And
something I do appreciate about Crowder, especially with such a large audience, is that he doesn't do the halfway disavowal. He just called her a mongoloid. Like, it's, you know how like the Konstantin Kisin will be like, and I disavow communists, and it's like, okay, well, you're talking to a communist right now. How would you really disavow him? Do it like calling someone a mongoloid is a very suitable disavowal, especially for what it was.
Yeah.
I've always said that using the term, and that rollout was terrible. That doesn't undo the things that a lot of people who elected not just Trump, but the cultural wins that they want. I think there's a lot of good there, and I don't think burning it down is the best approach. But here you mentioned a new potential coalition, and I think sort of lay out a prescription as to how to go forward, and I'd like to ask you about it. And again, we'll make the link to the full show available so that no one mischaracterizes anything.
Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie working together against the interests to compel the files. What do you think that has, a 90% approval rating? If you had progressive Democrats and nationalist Republicans working together, let's say to compel the release of the Epstein files, what kind of approval rating do you think that has? 90%? And what if they got together and they opposed foreign aid to Israel? What approval rating do you think that would have? 90%? Do you think that that Republicans or independents running under that brand, do you think that would become more popular or less popular over time? 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16. It snowballs. And we need to propel someone into the White House that is just a populist. If the right can come down on healthcare and on a social safety net and maybe on some subsidies for education, and if the left can come down on the anti-white open border stuff, and they can agree that party will win 90% of the vote and rule for a century. That's the compromise.
Rhetorically
That's the populist
strong.
Compromise.
Yeah, exactly.
One of those is achievable. The other one's laughable.
Yep. And I think you were, you articulated that pretty well. I would say Epstein already has a coalition. Everyone voted to release the files except Clay Higgins, who is a punchline, deservedly so. Like, that's the first time everyone knew Clay Higgins. Like, he really must love pedophiles. I wish I loved anything as much as he loves defending sex islands. I would like to hear your prescription for how that works, because I would say this. If the only compromise was the left on immigration, and if I believe that there was any semblance of a reality in which they compromise on immigration and compromising on free markets to varying degree, okay. But what do we do with the Ro Khanna on the Second Amendment, on the First Amendment, on transing the kids, on reparations that someone like a Ro Khanna or any member of the Democratic Party, but Ro Khanna specifically says is a priority economically and morally.
Essentially, his argument is, how can you trust these people even if they make a concession here? How can you really take their word with all the other heinous things that they are?
Yeah, and it's a good point. I mean, I would say that about the only way you could do it is you'd have to essentially de-radicalize the left. You'd have to do to the left what Lindsay and the kosher centrists are trying to do to the right, where you split off the, quote unquote radicals and cast them into the wilderness. And then you get left with a sort of reasonable left that you then try and sort of like go into coalition with the reasonable right, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On abortion, what do you do with all of the other compromises that aren't listed? How does that coalition work? And bring me through the end point.
Well, and I'm not a huge fan of either of them, actually. You could also say Thomas Massie on H-1Bs. You could say Thomas Massie on immigration also.
You could say him on Israel also, as far as his biggest donor. It's not AIPAC, but a lot of influence.
Certainly. Certainly. But what I'm referring to is maybe more something like Trump 2016, who is basically a populist. And you look at Trump in 2016, and to me, that's kind of the prescription, where it's like in 2016, he comes out and he says, we're going to get the money out of politics. He says, I'm not going to take donor money. I'm not going to take super PAC money. I don't listen to special interests. He says, law and order, close the border. As far as healthcare, he didn't even give a plan. He said, we'll just take care of everybody. He said, we'll get rid of the lines around the states and we'll just take care of everybody. Who even knows what that means? And he says, we're going to put America first in foreign policy. Now, I think that here's the thing. I'm under no illusions. We're not going to win 80% of the left or 40% or even 30%. But I'm thinking that if we can win, because I think there are a lot of people on the far left or even some of the abundance liberals, they're getting tired of a lot of the far left too. There's a lot of these liberals in the center that are saying, how are you going to have public transportation when you have people getting stabbed in the neck and there's no police? Like, we can't defund the police and even have these cities that we want to have. I think there's a lot of people on the far left too that are saying, maybe the woke has gone too far.
I'm sorry, was that a quote? Did Ro Khanna say that, or was that just a general?
No, I'm not talking specifically about Ro Khanna. That's just an example.
Because when I hear it, I almost thought you said I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like something a liberal would say, like stab the cop in the neck.
No, that joke didn't go over very well.
For example.
Yeah, really.
Fucking sold.
He just totally interrupted Nick's flow, right? Like
to try to make a joke, and he mugged while holding his mug, and no one took the joke. That hurt to watch live when I watched that.
This is what makes me sussy about Crowder, because what Nick is describing is a perfectly viable political formula, right? Like, this is how you would talk if you were setting up like a campaign, right? You'd be like, okay, we're going to target these people. We're going to try and split them off from like the opposing party. No. And Crowder just comes in and he's like, what are you talking about this specific person? Like,
are you talking about Ro Khanna? Makes a funny face. Yes. I was just gonna. Yeah, go ahead.
$2 from the new GM, and this is the used car salesman section.
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna put up the poll in 7 minutes, fellas.
Okay, we keep going with this clip.
Mm-hmm.
It's also something I could hear a leftist supporting, but yes, okay, go on. I just didn't know if it was the okay, yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, fundamentally, it comes down to the fact that let's just talk about it in general. So that's my prescription. It's like populist Trump, and let's just get a small percentage of the left liberals, who I think have come a long way in the past 5 years since COVID. But I would say that in general, I think maybe where we disagree is I look at this Republican team. What has it actually done for us? Because you seem to be defending like, well, we're supposed to vote Republican and we're supposed to say, well, this is better than the alternative. No. And he's making these wins. Well, hang on. And I look at it and say, it's been 10 years of Trumpism. And, I know Biden brought them in, but we're 10 million illegals up since Biden, and there's no mass deportations. I look at the wars. We're getting into more wars, not fewer. He wanted to keep us in Afghanistan and Bagram. He's building bases in Syria. We're getting into Venezuela. I look at what we have not done in 10 years, and I say, this is a prescription where it hasn't been working.
So pause it.
So I'm very against this line where
we didn't show this.
Say, well, we're going to vote.
But just before this, he was talking about Stalin and what he appreciated about Stalin, how he appreciated the power wielding of it. And this is why he says we'll need a king or a dictator. Like, we'll need to not have any bureaucracy for like 5 fucking years and then dial it down.
Yep. Well, I mean, this was the original Roman conception of the dictator, right? Like, someone took over like complete power until like the crisis has passed and then returns power to the Senate. The problem is, right, what if they don't return power? Like, what if the person who takes over is like totally corrupt? Like, you know, the ruling class in the West at the moment is like so bloody terrible. Who would you trust? You know what I mean?
Right, but also we're getting to a point where we don't give a fuck, and we're not choosing communism. So,
yeah,
we're getting ready to roll the dice. UK a little more than the US, you know.
Oh yeah.
Republican, and we're going to, what exactly? I mean, what's your prescription? If Trump is failing us miserably, what are we supposed to do here?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is I don't agree that our representatives are all failing us miserably. I think they failed in quite a few ways. If you're talking about like the Johnsons of the world and the Rhinos, absolutely. But the things that you just listed, and I would again ask you for your prescription because I give mine Monday through Friday. I mean, every day.
What a dodge! What a fucking dodge! He doesn't have a prescription. If he did,
well, he's interviewing Nick Fuentes. Okay. He gives his opinion every day. Not like Nick Fuentes doesn't give his opinion every day. They should be exchanging both their opinions because they give their opinions every day.
Crowder doesn't have a solution. If he did, he would be able to state it shortly and succinctly. This is the problem.
11 a.m. Eastern. I've done one on voting, what we need to do. I've done one on immigration, done one on big tech and Section 230. I'm very curious as to your prescriptions so that people can contrast them. You mentioned law and order. I don't know of any president who sent the National Guard in as aggressively. We're talking about D.C. and Chicago. That way you talk about law and order. You're talking about
in Chicago.
Well, I'm saying any effort being made. I know what we've lived through as far as what Ro Khanna would support: Black Lives Matter, the Police and Justice Act. Again, I don't think
happened under Trump in 2020.
So let me ask you, what's your prescription? Why hopscotch all the people who I think watching right now would agree with you if they think that you're on board with them on LGBTQ, on immigration, on Second Amendment rights, on First Amendment rights? Why hopscotch then to compromise with someone who's actively fought to destroy all those things like a Ro Khanna? Wouldn't it make more sense to form a coalition with more than half the country who already exists? Because you don't want to take them for granted. Take Trump out of it. I'm talking about the people, the voters. What's your prescription?
I would say that it's a structural problem, which is that the reason, first of all, I mean, we have to deal with the fact that Trump is not delivering. Like, if you don't want to gish gallop, let's just start there. You say, well, I don't think it's a complete failure. Yeah, it is. And you bring up BLM. BLM happened in 2020 because Trump let it happen, because Sean Hannity was calling him every day and saying, this is better for us in November if BLM burns down the cities. So the summer of love happened in 2020 when Trump was president. And then Trump comes back.
It started under Barack Obama with going back to Trayvon Martin.
The George Floyd.
Oh, come on.
Crowder, just concede that the worst. All you had to do is concede that 2020 was the worst that we've had in the country's history. Okay.
You notice how he completely skated over Fuentes, claiming that the Republicans let BLM happen because they thought it would help them in the 2020 election. I mean, that is a huge accusation.
It is. And that would have to be a long debate that I could have. So also, I'll carve out this position, no problem. I support virtually everything Donald Trump did in 2020 when it came to COVID, when it came to the vaccine, and how he handled the violence. I essentially support pretty much everything he did. I would be open to criticisms of what he did, and I would love to understand what you thought should happen instead of that.
Yeah. Well, I guess send in the troops, you know.
To where? It's all across. It's all across the country, all at the same time. What he should have done is coordinate how the fuck that happened. Obviously, there's coordination going on where it's happening across the country all at the same time, but we've already covered that in a previous fucking stream. Polls going up in a couple minutes.
Floyd Summer of Love.
Yeah, it was a continuation.
Well, I think they kind of picked up on it. Don't you think? It wasn't like it was ongoing.
I was there, and I had people on my show back then with Hands Up, Don't Shoot. And I remember the assassination of the Dallas PD. Donald Trump was elected specifically his first term because of how disruptive Black Lives Matter was and law and order. And I would say there was significantly more than under Barack Obama. But if you say they're the same, that's just where we disagree.
Well, what are we debating about? I mean, in the George Floyd Summer of Love, maybe I'm wrong about the calendar. It was in 2020 when Trump was president, and it was the worst, arguably the worst BLM violence, I think, in the 21st century. I think that was worse, actually, than Mike Brown or Trayvon Martin. And Trump was president, and he didn't intervene because he was told it'd be better for him. And now in 2025, there's no National Guard. He chickened out on that. He chickens out on all that stuff. He was going to send him to Chicago, going to send him to every major city. Never happened. Even here. You know, they're doing the deportations in Broadview here in Illinois. They brought in like 400 National Guard, and ICE is still getting chased. And they got boxed in by a bunch of different protesters, one with a semi-automatic rifle. There's no law and order.
Lack of power.
Irina Zarutska died under Trump. The crime in New York under.
Yeah, exactly.
But then he says that the Ukrainian bitch died under Trump, and it's like, okay, well, Trump isn't the fucking police of the entire country. So now Fuentes is going to kind of like really be overly reductive to be like, these things happened, like that happened under Trump, and it's like, okay, well, I'm sure that the person in charge of a state has a job and the person in charge of the city has a fucking job before we go straight to Trump.
Well, I mean, Fuentes might have a point in that, like, Trump could have fired all of those prosecutors. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I guess what he's getting at is that if Trump had been sort of bolder and I guess like, more fashy.
Poll is active in the chat, fellas.
Maybe this could have been prevented. I mean, I don't know.
For Trump, the crime in Chicago under Trump, it's a failure. And we're 10 years in. And so you say, what is it going to take? Because we elected him
Can I
once,
ask you something,
twice.
though, just because this is the point I'd like to address when you say Irina Zarutska, and obviously we've covered that, and I think we're in agreement when you look at the judge and you look at the man who was released, I believe, 14 times, right, under the guise of equity, Black Lives Matter, precisely the kinds of policies that only exist because they've been supported by the radical left who run the entire Democrat Party, right? So, yeah, some of that happened under Trump's watch, and I agree. It's definitely far from perfect, and I think he's failed in a lot of ways. But who has been orchestrating? You talk about these constructions. Right? They want that. And people like Ro Khanna, people who you talk about in your coalition, it's their raison d'etre. So why hopscotch the voters who would not vote for that coalition precisely for the reasons we're discussing? Because they're against all of it, because Trump hasn't done enough to fight. I mean, COVID happened under Trump too. Huge mistakes. Fauci, awful. But I certainly think that 20 million illegal aliens in 4 years is worse than a reduction of 90-something%. I certainly think that the people who orchestrated Black Lives Matter and the people who ran those cities and the people who have blocked ICE from doing anything is worse than the guy sending in ICE with any effort at all.
But let's talk about even that. Why do we get all these people from Venezuela? Because Trump hired John Bolton to destroy Venezuela's economy, and then on his last day in office gave Venezuela a temporary protected status. That was one of his last acts as president, and that means they can't be deported. And then you got 6 million Venezuelans in an exodus, and how many of them ended up here? And by the way, Trump ran in 2016 saying, we're going to build the wall, and we're going to solve immigration. It didn't happen. There's no wall. He didn't solve it. What he did was executive orders, which Biden immediately overturned when he took power and then brought in 10 million. Okay, so Trump gets elected again. What does Trump do? You're right. He did secure the border. That's true. But we're 10 million deep. That's a little too late.
I mean, to be fair, right? Like, Nick is bumping up against the limits of the unitary executive, right? Like,
right.
Trump does like a bunch of executive orders. Biden gets in, he repeals them all, and then he does a bunch of executive orders. And this is
liberal democracy.
Well, you've got like essentially a highly polarized polity, right? So there's no real center.
Nothing
left,
can
right?
get done.
Nothing can get done. This is essentially paralysis of government. And then you get the situation where like the only one who can get stuff done is the executive who passes a bunch of executive orders.
Who breaks the laws as legally as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Mass deportations. We've had maybe 300,000 deportations this year. Is that going to go up during the midterm elections? Is that going to go up when everybody's running in the primary in 27? I don't see it happening. And either way, it hasn't happened. So this is my frustration where I'm like, I was with you in the first term. As in the first term, when I was in college, I was like, yeah, like vote for Trump, never coming down. If he falls short, we'll go on Twitter and tell him to try better. But 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, Republicans have called for our vote all these times and things are not getting better like at all. And that's sort of the frustration where I start to say, let's turn the table around. And I'm not hopscotching over the voters. I want all the right-wing voters. What I want to hopscotch is the donors. I want to hopscotch the party, which is the RNC, which is, Little Tech, Silicon Valley, which is the Israel lobby, which is Wall Street, because they're driving the stuff. Like the reason that Trump is not really what he delivers, or what he promises is because, if you were to deport all these illegal aliens, it's going to be bad for big agriculture, Wall Street, inflation might tick up. And so
Marty Taylor Green's construction company.
That's right. Yeah.
No. Again, right? This is Crowder dodging a central point. Because of fiat money printing and usury, if all the migrants left the US tomorrow and you actually had to like pay market wages, the price of everything would shoot through the goddamn roof as all the inflation built up in the system was suddenly realized. This is why you need to keep importing all these cheap workers, because inflation pushes the wages up. It becomes
this is why they've done this in the first place, is because of how difficult it is to correct.
That's right. And this is the sort of the big issue in all these like Western countries is usury and fiat money printing. But it's a problem so huge. How do you even resolve it? Like, and no one wants to confront that. So instead, they always wind up with these like dodges and.
Well, we start with, we know we have to get rid of these people. We can't just keep them here because of that. They have to go. You start to have a triage of priorities. And so one priority is they have to leave as quickly as possible. That's what he knows for a fact. Anything after that, I'm not quite sure. And sure, it might suck, but they need to go. Essentially, would be the opinion.
Yeah.
100%. And that's why I want to bypass.
Okay, so bypass. So, and nobody's saying that President Trump is perfect. And I'm not a micro-political guy, a cultural guy, largely. And I think there's been a major shift culturally. I mean, half of all gay characters are going to be going away, and GLAAD is lamenting that. I don't know how much more happy I can get. I think that the replatforming is a big thing, right? I mean, as someone who's been also debanked, demonetized through PayPal, Shopify, all that, very similar to you. The fact that you're able to sit here now and have this conversation, I mean, it took a lot of work from coalition people like me, turning down a $50 million contract and migrating the world's biggest conservative, right-leaning nationalist YouTube channel over to Rumble so that you're able to do that. That's a win, right? And you could look at that like a light switch, deplatformed, including the president himself, replatformed. To me, that's probably the biggest thing. The fact that you are able to sit here and talk when you weren't.
But I got replatformed under Biden. I got my Twitter account back in May 24. Musk bought Twitter in 2022. Right. And Rumble really started to grow after Trump got banned in 21. That's when all the little tech money jumped in because they said, we're going to do True Social, Trump Media Group, Rumble, these things. So, now that Trump is back in office, there's might be more censorship. Like you have people.
But Elon Musk put you back specifically. He bought that to balance the powers that be. I mean, there was a point in time.
But it wasn't Trump.
But that's the reason for it, right? There's no world in which you're replatformed unless Donald Trump is running again and someone like Elon Musk sees an already existing populist movement. That is important. And right now, this will actually be clips on YouTube. That could never have happened. I mean, I was literally deplatformed for having Carrie Lake on in a midterm. That's why we couldn't stream the elections. So to say that, well, that's because of Biden, are you giving Biden credit for Elon Musk buying X and bringing you back? Because I think that you got to give some credit here if you want to build a coalition. Can you build a coalition with the people going, hey, we are really anti-censorship and we're really hesitant to get back in bed with a party that pushed for all of it? Because there are other people, not as popular as you, who've also been deplatformed and replatformed as a result.
No, I'm not giving Biden credit. All I'm saying is you attribute that to Trump or for Republicans being in power. All I'm saying is one's got nothing to do with the other. And actually, it was a response. Musk buying Twitter was a reaction to the overreach of the Democrats because they banned the president from Twitter. And I would add to that also, censorship is a big problem. I don't think we're in the clear with Rumble or Twitter. There's going to be a lot of regulatory. Either. Yeah. And what is Trump doing to solidify this free speech beachhead that you have built, that Elon has built? Nothing. Was that in the big, beautiful bill? Is the FCC getting on top of that? They flirted with doing that in 2020 when they.
This is a fucking crucial point for Nick, where can we enshrine? So, okay. Some things Nick says regarding political power is fantastical and in the future, right? His criticism with power right now is like, what the fuck has he done? As soon as he's gone, it's going to go, you're right. It's going to go right back to how it was once he's gone. So what can he do for free speech? Guns, we have it pretty locked down. Free speech needs fucking help, okay? And I'm saying that in the most free speech place in the world because I can see how the little workarounds they have for it.
What about a digital bill of rights, right? Like, what about, guarantees for digital ownership, right? Like all that stuff.
I actually said this in my last video. I'm like, the left convinced hospitals to cut off, 15-year-old girls' tits and mutilate boys' and girls' bodies and prevent them from going on puberty for years and years, delaying their puberty, forever fucking up their bodies. I'm sure we can have some solutions here, right?
Yeah.
Did we see what the left has gotten away with? We really don't have the creativity to possibly have a viable fucking solution, dude. That's what's starting to drive me crazy.
Well, exactly. This is the classical argument against conservatives. All they do is slow down the progress of the left, but they never fundamentally reverse it. Like,
right. Reverse. Right.
Trump he hasn't even been in office for a full year yet. I know everyone's freaking out about the midterms, right? But even if they don't do great in the midterms, he still has another year to get stuff done.
And it's his second year. He doesn't give a fuck about getting reelected.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like much longer because so much crap has happened, but it hasn't even been a full year yet.
That's actually a very good point. Dude, the time in between each stream, fellas, in private we talk about it. It feels like a fucking couple weeks or a month sometimes in between streams.
That's right. Yeah,
It's insane.
Shit happens. Yeah.
Said they were going to do section, what is it, 270 or 280
Section
or whatever.
230.
They talked about doing that. They never did it. And so that's my problem where, and I'm with you, like,
well, no, can I
it's
just
not
pause
all
that because that's
bad.
kind of in my
Yeah,
realm
sure.
of expertise because this is something
absolutely.
where I've been here this entire time.
Totally.
Right? And not to take credit, but certainly a pioneer in being demonetized and hiring. My biggest expense, especially coming up, was legal outside of payroll because I saw this type of censorship coming. I'm the only one who was named in the Facebook files by name. That's how I met my lawyer, the Twitter files, and Susan Wojcicki and Congress women. I don't know if there are any men. I know there were a few women. I think Pelosi.
And has anyone been jailed for that? Right? Like the Twitter files was huge. Okay. Most of that was being run out of the UK. Have they sent like teams in to like arrest these people? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they found out that it was China doing this, right, they would just be like, oh my God. But because it was like the UK, US censorship pig establishment, which is still there, by the way, right? They're just being restrained by the Trump government.
When you say the Trump government, you have to realize that, as we've shown in a previous stream, we have a lot of leftists and communists in our government, and I'm not even starting the conversation on the moos, okay? There's crossover there.
Yeah.
But in our federal government are absolute psychopathic pieces of shit that do not have they're globalists, they don't have any actual nationalism in the country. So that's where it gets tricky. As this is the feeling that no matter what administration is in charge, we have power spread out so much that the same workers are there, regardless of who's in the administration in a lot of sectors in society.
Well, yeah, but not just the government. You've got all the NGOs, right? So all the censorship NGOs, all those people, they just fucked off to the UK and the EU, and their current plan basically is to try and pass either UK or EU laws and like try and subvert the global internet that way and get around the First Amendment that way because they fucking hate the First Amendment. There's that clip where like one of them's like, oh yeah, you know, the biggest barrier to like, you know, sanitizing the internet is the First Amendment.
Said it in plain English. Said it in clear, plain English that a 3rd-year-old could understand.
Yep. So these people haven't been smashed. These NGOs have not been smashed. Like, if they were Chinese, they'd be going after them with like hammer and tongs.
It's passing, it's really passing the political football back and forth, where I feel like Steven Crowder's kind of used to it. I think he has maybe 10 years on Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes is like, I'm not watching this happen the rest of my life kind of feeling. It's two different energies. It is a generational difference, I feel like.
But man, when they pass the political football back to the Dems, it's going to be a fucking shit show, right? Like, I'm starting to think that this is actually sort of the plan, right?
Yes.
They're going to outlast Trump. They're going to get the Dems back in, right? And then they will finally have the censorship that they so like.
Why do you think I'm trying to build parallel structures from the very beginning?
Yeah. But
I am expecting this to happen in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see, what's her name? The Hirono, the lady from Hawaii who always talks about sex, asking for me to be. Have you ever had sex with me? That's how she opens every single hearing. It's like, how horny are you, lady? So that is something that I've lived through, and I think you're maybe discounting how bad it can get. And 230 is important, right? I've issued a prescription on how to fix that. And yeah, I'm disappointed that there hasn't been something fully solidified. But I would say there's a reason you're back. There's a reason that people are not afraid to speak out. And people like Trump, people who are more populist, the populists who exist on the right, they listen to their base. And I think it's good that you're pushing him. But what would be enough? In other words, would there be a threshold enough so that you don't just sort of, elope with the Ro Khannas and the Bernie bros of the world?
It's not about eloping. And I would say, what does enough look like? I would know it when I saw it. It would be not like bombing Iran is like a punchline for what Israel wants. That's pretty bad. I would say that not mass deporting people. You don't need to deport 10 million in 1 year, but 1 million per year. And how about anything and literally anything on free speech? You know, Ron DeSantis had some legislation and Texas had some legislation about free speech. Could we get something like that, regulatory or legislative? Mm-hmm. You know, I just look across the board and maybe this addresses the heart of the matter. I sort of look at Trump and I say, I see what you have done for them. can you bless us in the same way? Because they will move heaven and earth to lower the corporate tax rate. They will move heaven and earth to give $1 trillion for AI. And they will give Saudi Arabia, non-NATO major defense ally. They'll give Qatar security guarantee. They'll bomb Iran for Israel. They'll bomb Yemen for Israel. What will you do for us? A middle-class tax cut? Will you give us law and order? Guard,
Who the fuck is us? Who's us? Is it the Indians that are also living here? Who is us? We're just having this general, vague conversation about us.
Yeah,
It never happens. It never happens.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
so we can push this along a little bit right now. Go to oh yeah. Speaking of what I'm saying now, go to 144.
144. Okay, we're at 3 hours now. Do you want to?
Yeah, you got like 50. I am checking it. Why do you think I'm not saying anything?
Right. Okay.
It said fucking 75 Fuentes, 25 Crowder. My team is losing.
Oh no, bro. Oh no, the team is losing. Right? Like
because me and you had a really vicious scrap back and forth about which one, right? We weren't just having like a civil conversation the entire time. Very vicious debate we had.
Vicious. Oh,
very cutthroat.
That was uncalled for, Artie. I can't believe you were so vicious. My God, yeah.
A little gun right here. I had to take it out because when I sit down, it digs into my gut fat and leaves a gun imprint. That's a cute little gun, right? That doesn't intimidate you. Look at this tiny little thing. It's
pause it real quick.
So
this is shortly after Nick Fuentes is like, I don't really care that much about the Second Amendment. He's like, yeah, it's there, and I have a gun and shit like that. And then Steven Crowder had to go on his pro-gun tirade. But Nick Fuentes is like, don't you want to not need a gun? And he did tell a story of when he was in somewhere in Texas and like somebody just had a gun hanging out of the back of their pants, and he was like, I don't really know if I like that. And I actually had the same feeling when I was in Oklahoma at a barbecue joint, going to the Gathering of the Juggalos, fellas. I've been to the Gathering of the Juggalo 4 years in a row. Yes, I am an absolute piece of white trash. And we're eating, and the guy just has a gun hanging, not in his belt, just hanging on in his asshole, down his ass crack. Just has a gun in the back of his pants, and I'm like, that does feel like a bit much. I understand what he was saying, but I don't think there really is an alternative.
I mean, look, I'm quite pro-gun, but I'm also really against.
I could have taken his gun and shot him in the head. That's what.
I hate people being sloppy. With firearms, right? Like so seeing someone with just like a pistol hanging out the back of their tracksuit would really fucking annoy me.
Open carry's retarded. You shouldn't know who has a gun. Concealed carry makes more sense.
I mean, I guess my ideal society would be like everyone has a gun, but you sort of don't need them. You know, I mean, I might be retarded.
No.
Like,
Armed society is a polite society.
Exactly.
Is only in white areas. It's not in black areas. See the difference? Do we see the fucking difference, dude?
Yeah. So to be precise, I'd rather live in a highly white majority society where they're all armed, but also sensible and understand like gun safety, and no one's like running around with like a Glock hanging out their fucking dick hole. You know,
I would love to not have to preface that with Eric Arval, and then he goes into like a metaphysical 5-minute explanation, dude. He can give an explanation that is like 1 minute and succinct, or he will go a half an hour into one fucking topic. It's insane.
Phoenician for $5 US.
Thank you, mate.
Once again, Fist, we are up against what makes us the people. Yeah. I mean, that is, oh my God. That's if there was an easy answer to that question, half of political theory wouldn't even need to exist. You know what I mean? It's very, the simple answer is that someone has to make a decision, and wherever you draw the line, it's never going to be perfect because it's a kind of like fractal structure. But you have to draw a line somewhere.
But don't you feel liberal even explaining it that way when you look at the Moos, when you look at the commies, and when you look at the Muslims in response to this question?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Poison of liberalism.
Yeah. Well, the things have gone too far.
Yeah.
Is the problem. There's already been too much melting pot. And for the ethnic minorities, it's very, very easy for them. They'll just be like, right, you're one of us or you're not, get the fuck out. unless you want to like
Very simple.
do the literal white nationalist thing and just be like, right, that's it. Anyone who isn't white, we're going to like expel them out of the country. You can't really do that. So, yeah, I don't know.
If you come down, we can shoot it sometime. And they won't even know about it in Chicago. Don't carry illegally. Okay, so that's a big issue for me. I would say the biggest issue, since you can go back when I was a teenager as well, we should have in common. Second Amendment, First Amendment. Again, socialized healthcare, very important to me just because of the results. I understand where you're coming from, saying that our system is broken. I just have seen how much more broken it can be. Immigration, I think, is probably the biggest issue of our time, both legal and illegal. I think we agree, maybe different methods, if that's fair. But I am for you. I don't want Texas to look like India. We have a segment, Eye on India, where it's pretty much just human beings throwing shit. It's a terrible, terrible place.
Pause
and
it.
I don't believe that they're smarter. I don't believe
is there anything behind that? We're just gonna leave it there, huh? Does he mean
it must be the social and economic circumstances, mate?
Do you see how we're knocking on the door? Do you see how close we are? And it's like, okay, when are we going to have a national conversation about race in a soft way? He can talk about the moves before he talks about white people, dude. It's fucking crazy. We really cannot talk about it. Everyone's terrified to have that conversation.
Yeah, this is a good quote from Arden. Yeah, exactly.
We should be replacing Americans. So I think we're on board there. But freedom of speech, big thing for me. The fact that we're able to have this conversation and the fact that I will take so much crap for even having it. I hope that you can appreciate it, and I would do it again. That's a big one. Now, I want to play a clip for you that The Hill took, and they edited some stuff in this clip. I'm sure you're aware. And then towards the end of this, for fun, I want to go through some rapid-fire viral clips that have no context so that you can address them, because these are the ones that people see of you sometimes.
Sure,
So this is the one from The Hill that they ran regarding, I guess you would say freedom of speech, but seems pretty severe. And then I would like to roll, not the whole 2-hour show, but a longer clip so that people can see what they cut out, and then we can talk about it. Is that fair?
Sure.
Here's the Hill clip with, I think the two hosts who presented it, I think one of them is gay or just acts like it.
There is an occult element at the high levels of society, and specifically among the Jews. So many of the people that are perpetrating the lies and the destruction on the country, they are evildoers. They are people that worship false gods. They are people that practice magic or rituals or whatever. And more than anything, those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty. Straight up.
Based.
Can you?
And I'm far more concerned about that than I am about even non-white people or mass migration. These people that are communing with demons and engaging in this sort of witchcraft and stuff, and these people that are suppressing the name Christ and suppressing Christianity, they must be absolutely annihilated when we take power. This is God's country. This is Jesus's country. This is not the domain of atheists or devil worshippers or perfidious Jews. This is Christ's country.
Now, for those watching, that is what The Hill ran, right? And of course, people were horrified. They did edit out a very particular portion of it, which I think is relevant. So forgive me if you need to take a sip of water. I want to play the longer version, and let's see if people can see what was edited out, and then give you the floor to explain it.
Sure. It just makes me sick to my stomach. There is an occult element at the high levels of society, and specifically among the Jews. And whenever I see that stuff, it just makes me want to proclaim louder and more firmly and more rigidly that it is nothing other than Jesus Christ. No pagan stuff, no false gods, no deities, no demons. It is Jesus Christ. And we need to start saying that name more. I feel like I haven't said his name enough on the show lately. But that is what breaks the spell. It's the name. It's the name Jesus. Talk about it. Say it. Pray to him.
Can we get some J-boys in chat?
The sacrifice on the cross. That's the answer. Because so many of the people that are perpetrating the lies and the destruction on the country, they are evildoers. They are people that worship false gods. They are people that practice magic or rituals or whatever. And more than anything, those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty. Straight up. And I'm far more concerned about that than I am about even non-white people or mass migration. These people that are communing with demons and engaging in this sort of witchcraft and stuff, and these people that are suppressing the name Christ and suppressing Christianity, they must be absolutely annihilated when we take power. I'm not calling for political violence, but that cannot have any quarter in our society. And we need to put up a crucifix in every home, in every room, in every school, and every government office to signal Christ's reign over our country. Not that God needs it, but it must be outwardly expressed from the interior that this is God's country. This is Jesus'. It's not the domain of atheists or devil worshippers or perfidious Jews. This is Christ's country. So anyway, I know the guy earlier said, can you be agnostic and be America first? I'm amending my answer. No, you must be a Christian. And you must submit to Christianity.
Okay, so and I
Look
know
at
it
his
feels
face.
tedious, but
Look
this
at his
is-
face
this
after
is the
seeing
game
that.
we-
He has to hold in a smile, dude. Dude, go back to where it just first cuts to him and slow it down. Slow it down to like 0.5. Nick Fuentes has to fucking hide his fucking smile when this comes back.
Not the domain of atheists
Just
or
let go.
devil worshippers or
putting people to death.
No. It's when it first cuts. Yeah.
Fucking.
Just let it go a little bit. Right there. Yeah.
And I know it feels tedious, but this is.
He's trying so hard, dude. I'm an editor. I can see things in slow motion. Thank you for that. He's fucking trying. He's like, I'm gonna just move my face around a little bit. It's not that funny. It's not that funny that I just had to. He had to watch it twice. He had to watch him say perfidious. He had to watch him say he wants to execute perfidious Jews twice. He's like, dude, please, not a second time. I've trained for this in the mirror to listen to it once, but not twice.
Game that the media plays. I noticed they cut out the part where you said you were not calling for political violence, which I think is an indictment on the Hill. But I would also ask, you say that, but you also talk about executing people. So if you're not advocating political violence as it relates to putting people to death, how would you do it?
Well, that was a few years ago, and I would say that I'm not really in favor of the death penalty at all anymore. But I remember that monologue well because I saw a lot of this satanic occult stuff. I'm talking about like Pizzagate stuff. Like, we have to acknowledge there are a lot of people in the elite that are straight up devil worshippers. I firmly believe in this like eyes wide shut kind of thing that does happen. I don't think it's necessarily a grand conspiracy, but
no, there's spiritual warfare for sure. For sure.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of those types of people out there, especially in like Hollywood. I saw it up close and personal when I was with Ye, and I just hate that stuff so much.
Wait a second.
And
Wait, I want to give you the answer, but what do you mean you saw it up close? Were you at an eyes wide shut party with Ye?
No, I wasn't at a party, but being with him, you see, like with Balenciaga, they did that at Balenciaga.
Okay, all right.
They had that like S&M teddy bear, and there's things like that. It's like a wink and a nod to basically just evil, just straight up evil. And so no, that they always do this. I do a show every night, as you know, and you sometimes get whipped up and you say something like that. So I don't know that I have a policy of like when I get in charge, I'm going to give everyone the death penalty. But suffice to say, the people that are involved in that kind of stuff, they can't be negotiated with. It's not going to be a power sharing agreement with people that worship Moloch and Baal and the Epsteins and who is it, the Podestas? Like those people are going to have to be like imprisoned or something like that because that stuff just makes me sick to my stomach. So that was the gist. But it's not like my program is, we're going to become president, that we're going to kill a bunch. I'm not in favor of the death penalty even at all, really.
Okay. So even if let's say, a perfect world coalition, you reach that
Okay,
point,
you can pause
the
it
Nick
there.
Fuentes government.
We'll start to wind it down here. So
Yeah.
he clarifies his position right there, where here's the funny thing. He says perfidious Jews. He literally makes the distinction of untrustworthy, deceitful. Now, there is an argument as to what percentage of moose that is. There's an argument to be made as to what percentage that would equate to, but he says perfidious, which I think is a fine qualifier.
Yep. And look, it's true, man. You can't have devil worshippers running your government. Like, I'm sorry, right? Like, it's just very, very, very bad idea for like all kinds of reasons. Like,
and I don't know what the Christian justification for execution is, but what do you do with an evil that refuses to stop? Like, how is that rectified in Christianity?
Well, do you mean base Christianity, or do you mean like
I mean the
modern,
Christianity that you talk about on a live stream called Fistery Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern. That's what I mean.
So if you're talking like the 4th century position, it would be to like put them to death.
Interesting.
Because right, like they're really bad people. So but we live in enlightened times now, right? Like you shouldn't doesn't matter how many people you've tortured to death, right? You shouldn't kill them, right? You're just perpetuating the cycle of violence, surely. Well, Christianity doesn't really, like, old school Christianity says that you should defeat evil, right? You should like get rid of evil. You should make war on evil, not compromise with it and be like, oh, I'm like, sorry, you're so evil. These people, like, devil worshippers don't fucking care, right? They hate you. Like, they'd kill you, like, if they had the chance, so.
I want to see if you could. You said something. You had a couple of good one-liners when you were talking about that stuff too. One of them, I believe, was Christianity is cooler than hell. It was something like that. I'm gonna have to go back and get a couple of these one-liners, dude.
Yeah.
Has anyone said that? Is that been said before? Is that trademarked?
No, but we should totally get it out there, man, because Christianity is fucking cool.
It's cooler than hell.
Yeah.
It's literally better than hell. But you said it like colloquially. Well, here's the thing. Even just this year, I'm just finding Christians. I didn't know Christians like this existed. Literally in 2024. I would watch like Steven Crowder and shit like that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's neat. I would watch like Gav McGinnis and shit like that. But like actual like really religious people. Like the other Paul that's fucking coming on tomorrow. I'm pretty sure he wants to burn the fucking Constitution, okay? This fucking guy is fucking out there. But he means what he fucking says, and he's not hurting anyone. I don't know. I'm not afraid of anyone in the quote-unquote far right. But ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt says he wants the GOP and Trump to weigh in on Tucker Carlson's repellent interview. How long ago was that interview, dude? Was it 2 years ago? I can't feel time anymore. How long ago was it?
I don't know. It's like been at least a month. Now they're still kvetching about it. It's fucking crazy, man.
Okay, we're gonna wind down with this.
Jonathan, I'd like to also have you evaluate the conversation that has been going on for more than a week in Republican circles about Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, and the platforming thereof.
Yeah, look, I'm glad you asked. It reminds us that neither side of the spectrum is immune from anti-Semitism.
Do you love how the citrucism is never on either side? They're always in the middle, right? They're never on the left or fucking right, causing any of these fucking issues.
Because they only have one metric, right? Which is what's good for them. They are literally like the Maoists, right? I don't care if the cat is black or white. Does the cat defend us? Oh my God, we got check this out. My God, look, the Frenchman.
Oh
He's
wow,
back with,
bro!
Le Grand Baguette. Wait. We need a.
I'm gonna put that.
Sorry, go on.
I'm gonna put this towards my Orthodox Christian study Bible.
Yeah,
that's. Come on, that's gotta be like a digital version I can get. Do I have to get the real thing and smell the pages and really get into character? Is that what I'm missing? Is what I'm missing leaving where I live and going and exploring it? Do I really have to do all of that to get into it? Because that's asking a lot.
No, I mean, look, you can read it on the internet, but I would recommend getting like an actual, book. They're nice, right? Like they're weighty words. Like I feel like they deserve like an actual book.
This really is a tragic story. If only I could read. It really is a sad story. I'd love to do it, guys, fellas. I'd love to do it, but I can't read.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Le Frenchman, much appreciated. Right, back to Jonathan Greenblatt.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, he's done another one.
What
the madman. Oh my God, look at
Why
this.
is this happening?
Wait. We'll have to. Yeah, here, have a sneeze.
God, bro. I might have to do it for. Does it really mean the same if I did it for money? Isn't this like having sex for money instead of to create life? Am I really doing it under the correct pretenses if I do it this way?
The orthodox position, right, is that going to church, taking communion, eating the blessed bread, reading the Bible, these things are just good for the soul in of themselves, right? And like, plenty of people like lose their way or they're like not showing their faith and all this kind of other stuff. You can have your faith.
I'm not used to this. What you're explaining is why I was drawn towards Sikhism, because I didn't know this type of Christianity existed. I was looking for something equally meaningful, but not so. More so leaving it up to the individual. if that makes sense, as opposed to really, like, I don't know, being in your face, forcing you, really compelling you, nagging you, and that kind of stuff, guilting you. There's a huge like sense of guilt associated with Christianity. So the type of Christianity I'm being exposed to in the chat and through you is very fucking new to me, and new to I know a couple of atheists in the audience.
Yeah, no, it's just the Orthodox position is that it improves you as a person. So if you contrast the Catholic catechism, right, they talk about forgiveness of sin, but the Orthodox catechism is remission of sin, right? So the idea is that sin is like a sickness, and the more you engage with the church and engage with God, just the less you sin. It has a restorative effect on your soul, so that you sin less, right? You become a better person, and that's how you approach and become sort of more, like Jesus, which you're never going to like get to, right? It's an unattainable goal,
right?
But even if you just get a little bit more like Jesus, right, that's still going to like help you in your life, right? It's still going to like make you better, and you will suffer less because you sin less.
Look at how badly you're hurting Jonathan Greenblatt's feelings as you're saying this.
Wait, where's the
That ain't I say truth.
You are crushing his bald phallic soul right now.
Oh, well,
And
you
now
know what
the
they
Chad
say.
does what the Chad wants, and no one is stopping him because Chad does what Chad wants.
All right, we gotta start to wind this down.
Wait, yeah, we got another super chat, I think.
Absolutely.
We got $2 from the Phoenician. Thanks, mate. The audiobook version, then, you illiterate fella.
The audiobook version, I listen to about 8 hours, maybe 10 hours of YouTube a day, every single day. It's constantly going on in my ears, so that I could crush 50 hours of something, no problem.
Well,
So
look, man, if you went on the opposite side of the world, I'd take you to Orthodox liturgy. I'd just be like, look, man, just sit down and just.
You want to know what the worst part is? 15 minutes away, there's a Greek Orthodox church. 15 minutes away from me. I know. I really shouldn't have told you that. It's like 15 minutes. It's like 4 miles, 5 miles away from me, dude.
Hey, look,
I'm scared. I'm so scared, bro.
Mate, you don't have to promise to do anything.
It's
mate,
weird.
Right?
I know, but I feel really fucking uncomfortable inside of churches. I didn't get molested in a church. It's not like that. I've always felt very fucking uncomfortable in a church.
Yeah, that's just your demons talking, mate. Like, don't worry about it. Like,
these demons are cutting you a paycheck, motherfucker. All right. Okay, let's cap this off. Okay.
This happens on both sides, and specifically here. Look, it's not just.
That wasn't me being defensive at all. Okay.
Yeah, not at all.
It's like the interview with Nick Fuentes that Tucker Carlson did was so repellent, although it was. Tucker Carlson has been laundering hate for years, specifically anti-Jewish bias, Holocaust deniers, ugly anti-Zionists, and all kinds of people. That's the problem here. Now, I will tell you.
I love how he got a fucking message on his phone that was like, "Good job." It's like, oh shit, I forgot to silence that. You're nailing all the points.
Yep.
I was pleased that Kevin Roberts called out Nick Fuentes' disgusting anti-Jewish hatred. But why would you run cover for Tucker Carlson? The Republican Party has got to figure this out. People like Ted Cruz, Dave McCormick, Lindsey Graham seem intent on doing so, and that's a good thing. I hope things work out the right way, just like on the far left. The anti-Zionism and the anti-Semitism of some fringe folks on the progressive side also need to be worked out. Let's hope that happens on both ends of the spectrum, Major, so a strong center can reemerge.
The center is the moose. Like, they're not on either side. They're only in the center, right?
Yeah, when they say a strong center, that's what they mean, right? So
Right.
in my opinion, what they're actually talking about is, remember how I was saying, when you have two equally balanced power blocks, right? Whoever is the organized minority can basically choose between them, and whatever side they throw their weight behind, they will be the deciding factor, right? That's what they mean. Right, like, there's a strong centrism. They can just pick, like, they can play both sides off against each other. They can be like, well, you need our support, but because everything's fracturing now into these two sort of highly polarized sections of society, this is like messing the entire thing up.
Absolutely, mate. You know what? I have to piss. I have to start prepping for the other stream tomorrow. So let's wind her down proper.
Wait, can I just address this?
Absolutely.
Andrews Animatics. Listen, Andrews, go to an Orthodox church, a Greek Orthodox church, or a Russian. Like, if you really want a base church, go to a Russian Orthodox church. Some of the Greek Orthodox churches in the US can be a little Protestant-y. Just go to an Orthodox church. Generally speaking, you have a much better chance of getting something based. Just look, if they've got a trans flag outside, if it's like a Unitarian.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to fucking tell. And if they say something woke, you walk right the fuck out.
Yeah, just keep walking, man. Like,
do you like how I'm giving him advice on how to go to church when I refuse to go myself?
And
point the finger.
Just go to a few. Like, it took me. I went to like a bunch of churches before I settled on mine. I was just, I was it's like I was questioning. I was like, religio-sexual. I was questioning my religiosity, and I just started going to like different churches because I liked the peace. I didn't go to like the liturgy. I was just like hanging out in them. Just look, man. Just give it a go, man. Like, honestly, I don't know what the fuck is an Orthodox church. Mate, just stick it into Google Maps. Like one will pop up. They're a denomination of Christianity. They're very, very old. They're very, very base.
Dude,
So,
where's that chat where someone said that the Moos don't want me to go to church? Do I really want to make them happy?
I stuck that up on there.
That is the most rhetorically compelling thing you could possibly say to my contrarian, fucking rebellious nature. I'm like, oh fuck, they fucking do want me to not.
Yeah, that's right. They
that
don't
one.
want you to go to church.
Out of everything everyone's ever said to me, that one fucking pisses me off the most. And the only way I'll go is if I'm fucking pissed off. All right, that's the only way I get anything done. Like, that one pissed me off. I'll give you that one.
Bro. Right. So is that the end of the stream? Are we?
Yeah, dude. We gave him something. We gave him what for?
Yeah, 3.5 hours. Yep. Thank you so much to everyone. My God, we got like so many super chats. We better do a quick thank you though, because we love the fellas. You're the best fellas. You fellas kick ass. Big time. Cubics 85, Quizats, Chatterack, Waffle, Deadpool Kid, Total Blackout Painting, King Solo Wings, Slackademic Slagent, Caesar the Grape, Flavius Acanacius, Ardent Party, The Limiting Principle Podcast. Hey Patrick, how you doing, man? Wait, are these all from this? Are they all from this stream?
Wait a minute, I didn't see him in here this time.
Yeah. Wait,
what the fuck are you looking at, mate? Did it lied? Did it lied?
No. So it's got the ones from the last stream still in the pool. Okay, so that's weird.
Or smack my titties.
Smack my titties. Last remembrance, Molo K.
There you go. That feels familiar now.
Ivan Lozarando.
Yeah.
Groip Gang Flex.
Yep, that
Christos, happened. Last remembrance, Andrews Animatics, Double Mumble, Phoenician, Master Shake, Cousin Bowling, You Deserve What You Tolerate, Appalachian Goy, Theodicy Ninja, Aramaic Discourse, The New GM, K-Tess, Darth Amalgamation.
Wow.
Drenth. Oh my God, we got so
This is like reading the hard R's in the beginning, right?
and of course, they're Frenchmen. Who
the only straight Frenchman I read in chat.
Showered us with largesse. He's going to make me reconsider my opinion of the French now. Thank you so much, mate.
I'm
really
soaking
appreciate
in
that.
French guy sauce right now. I'm dripping. And didn't you forget someone? Kang Armadillo.
Kang Armadillo.
For $5, mate. Just checking in. Very much appreciated.
And we got another one from the Frenchman. My God, dude. The only we gotta put up like a media thing here. Have have a suited Pepe.
Like a proper gentleman.
They hate more than Uncle A is Jesus Christ, bro. I don't know. It was probably true, actually. Thank you so much, mate.
Call that the French drip.
Yep, that's the end. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. We will see you next week, next Friday.
I might see you guys the next 2 nights in a row, so I gotta get my wits together about me. I'm really stacking a lot on my plate because the fellas want to hang, and they keep saying, hey, dude, you and Fist are just doing something once a week. What if you did more shit? And I go, okay, let me try it out. Then I try it out, and they go, why don't you do it even more? So I guess I'm going to try and do it as much as possible to see what my threshold is.
You're going to burn out if you're not careful, but best of luck. And check out my Monday show, Fistery. We're doing the origins of Khazaria this week, which should be like quite interesting. So,
fuck yeah.
All right. See you later,
All
guys.
right.
Take care.
See you, fellas. Got the best, fellas.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Artie and Fist, Artie and Fist. You can be sure that we're both on a list. Artie and Fist, Artie and Fist. You can be sure that we make the most pissed. Streaming through history, uncovering mysteries as to why the whites are living in misery. We keep the audience salivating as we continue navigating through centuries of adventures of the ever-evolving small hat wizardry. Artie and Fist, let us show you what you might.